Hi everyone, welcome back to X10 Manhwa. Today, we are recapping a story called I Will Grind My Way to Lordhood. Let's get started. Our boy Tichkan was, for all intents and purposes, a regular dude from Earth. That is, until a month ago, when he was suddenly isekai'd to a world that was almost, but not quite, like his own. It was a twisted mirror of his home, and it came with a crazy new feature. Upon arriving, my guy accidentally unlocked a system. Basically, whenever Tichkan grinds a certain skill to a specific level, he can activate a corresponding ability. It doesn't matter if it's his physical stats, raw strength, running speed, or even aiming. You name it, he can level it up. For instance, earlier today at school, Tichkan just smoked a running test. He completely shattered his previous record. Boom, his sprint skill just got a clean 20 experience points. But let's set that aside for a second, because at school, Tichkan is basically a tier, one hot boy. All the girls simping for him accidentally triggered his charisma skill. And here's the kicker. Even when Tichkan does absolutely nothing, its experience points just keep stacking up. Despite this, he absolutely hates it, convinced it's a completely useless skill. Oh, how wrong you are, my guy. While he was taking a breather, something suddenly came flying at him, slicing through the air. Tichkan instantly snatched it out of the sky. Turns out, it was just a tennis ball intentionally chucked at his head. He glanced at the ball in his hand, then looked back at where it came from. A smirk of pure contempt spread across his face. Bro, what's going on? A student ran over. It was Laika, Tichkan's best friend. Do you know those guys? Our boy asked, nodding towards the tennis court. Laika followed his gaze, and his face immediately went pale. Because that dude over there is none other than the school's top bully, Buihu Kwang. He got super nervous and asked, "How did you end up pissing him off? Don't tell me it's over a girl again? Dude, just pick one already so you can stop making enemies everywhere." Not interested, Tichkan replied, casually tossing a handkerchief a girl just gave him to Laika. You might not be, but your boys definitely are. Besides, that Buihu Kwang guy is bad news. Where are you even going? The gym? Working out is useless, man. You need to learn martial arts. Laika shouted after him, but it was already too late. Tichkan knew better than anyone that, for most people, hitting the gym was pointless. But he's got a system, so the rules don't apply to him. While his daily training sessions were giving him insane gains, they also took a massive toll. It had turned Tichkan into a literal food-devouring machine. But he wasn't grinding this hard just for the aesthetics. The place he lives in is called the 5th Metropolitan Area, and like any city, it has an inside and an outside. The further out you go, the more desolate and impoverished it gets. But the deeper you go in, the more prosperous and prestigious it becomes. In this world, Tichkan has 6 months until graduation. It's either risk it all to break into the inner circle, or stay a broke nobody for life. That's why he's grinding like his life depends on it, because it does. While thinking this over, Tichkan was at the supermarket stocking up his fridge. The total bill of 201 yuan made his face drain of color. Tichkan quickly put a few items back before heading home with 2 bags of groceries. He was absolutely fuming. 5 eggs cost a whopping 30 yuan. This world is completely insane! Just then, a black shadow zipped past him. Tichkan took a closer look and saw it was a black cat with stunning, sparkling eyes. He had just opened his mouth to compliment it, when the cat suddenly collapsed on the ground. "Are you trying to pull an insurance scam on me?" Tichkan asked, suspicious. But then he noticed the cat was covered in injuries. He guessed it must have just lost a fight with some other strays. Damn, the world of stray cats is this brutal? Suddenly, the cat opened its mouth and spoke. This sent a shockwave through Tichkan. He couldn't believe his ears. But no matter how much he cleaned them out, he clearly heard it speak in human language. So, Tichkan gave it a full-body scan. That's when he discovered a strange golden ring attached to its tail. He reached out and touched it. A blinding golden light flashed, and a system notification popped up. Divine substance detected. Absorbing divinity. Tichkan was absolutely stunned. This planet, called Dia-Tin, was once a world known as Truaha. But 287 years ago, God died. On that day, every single person on Dia-Tin witnessed it with their own eyes. They all saw this bizarre spectacle unfold. Just like that, the gods vanished from the mortal realm, leaving humanity to fend for itself. And now, Tichkan has found a substance with actual divinity? If that's the case, does this mean he could potentially train to become a god himself? With that thought, Tichkan scooped up the black cat and headed home. Back at the crib, Tichkan even bought some cat food on the way, but when he pushed the bowl towards it, the cat's face was a mask of pure disgust. "Aren't you a stray cat? You're really going to be picky about this?" Tichkan was speechless. However, he remembered the cat had spoken to him earlier. A theory sparked in his mind. What if it's not actually a cat? Tichkan immediately spun around and dashed to the kitchen. Then, he started cooking with intense focus. During the process, he racked up a ton of EXP for his cooking skill. A moment later, a fully loaded max-topping bowl of fried rice was ready. This time, the cat's attitude did a complete 180. It was drooling nonstop, its eyes practically glowing. It immediately dove face first into the bowl. This proved Tichkan's theory right. The reason the cat could talk was because it wasn't a cat at all, but a person transformed into one. As for why, it probably had something to do with that golden ring on its tail. Just as he thought that, the system sent another notification. It announced that the divinity absorption process was complete. Then, the content on his status window changed. It informed Tichkan that a new skill, a divine skill called Twin, was ready to be activated. He immediately hit confirm. Twin skill successfully activated. A golden speck of light appeared in Tichkan's palm. It quickly seeped into his skin. Right now, the skill only has a single passive effect, but it's absolutely broken. It gives him an extra life. After dying, he can freely choose when to respawn within 7 days. The skill's cooldown is 3 months. Tichkan's jaw dropped as he read the notification. This was basically a real-life guardian angel. If the passive skill is this OP, the active version must be on a whole other level. The only problem is, Tichkan's divinity points are currently too low to unlock it. So he can't use the active skill just yet. So, all I need to do is keep absorbing divinity, right? He thought to himself. His gaze locked onto the black cat. A sinister, inhumane smile began to spread across his face. But on second glance, he saw it was covered in wounds. Continuing to drain it seemed a bit messed up. So, Tichkan decided to put that plan on the back burner for now. He just squatted down and gently stroked the cat's head a few times. But there was no way he was just going to let it go. He decided to keep it at his place for the time being. Tichkan also needed to head out and find clues about this so-called divinity. With that, he gave a command. Stand up. He wanted to see what the cat would do. And sure enough, it stood up. But then, our boy just turned off the lights and bolted out of the house. The little animal's eyes were glued to the door. It seemed a little annoyed, now left all alone in the house. But the security camera in the corner of the room was still rolling. Tichkan headed straight for the outer ring of the city. Life here was incredibly harsh. For people in the outer ring, getting into the inner circle was a ridiculously difficult task. Even if they managed to get in, they had to pay an exorbitant fee that could bankrupt a well-off family. Despite that, countless people were still desperately trying to make it happen. But what most people didn't know was that there was another way, pursuing the path of martial arts. If you could become a martial artist, all those problems would simply disappear. And that was the opportunity Tichkan was determined to seize. He continued forward, hoping to find some information related to divinity. But instead, he ran into a group of strangers. "You Tichkan? You got the balls to mess with someone our boss, Buihu Kwang, has his eye on? You're dead meat today." Each of them was armed, clearly planning to teach Tichkan a lesson or maybe even take his life. But Tichkan wasn't scared in the slightest. Instead, he sighed and asked, "What boss are you talking about?" He had barely finished speaking when the bald guy in the group suddenly flew backwards. It was as if he'd been hit by an immense force. The rest of the crew stared, jaws on the floor, looking from their falling comrade back to Tichkan. No one saw what he did. A second later, another guy screamed and went flying backwards. Then the third. This time, Tichkan slowed down just enough for them to see. All 3 of them had been taken down by tiny pebbles he flicked from his hand. Tichkan had been diligently grinding his precision aim skill with darts. So, a feat like this was child's play for him. The downed thugs were rolling on the ground, wailing in pain. Not bad, but not good enough. With all his goons out of the picture, Hu Kuang finally stepped up himself. Tik Kan was about to use the same trick again, but his opponent lunged forward a step faster. Our boy had to dodge to the side. He saw Hu Kuang's fist slam into the wall behind him, cracking it into pieces. Now it was Tich Kan's turn to be surprised. Bui Hu Kuang actually knew martial arts. This fight just got a little more interesting. Now he wouldn't have to go looking for someone else. Spill everything you know! Tich Kan slowly advanced on his opponent. His voice was a menacing threat. Or else I won't go easy on you. Hu Kuang was no match for Tik Kan. He was quickly beaten into a trembling mess. He started begging immediately. Boss, big bro, I give up. I really give up. I'll tell you everything. A victorious smirk played on Tich Kan's face. He thought this guy was supposed to be tough. Turns out, he was just another amateur. The entire fight, he just spammed the same move over and over. In the end, he couldn't even take a single punch from our boy. But Tich Kan made a new gain. After the battle, he successfully activated a new skill called hand-to-hand combat. Grinding his aiming skill was definitely worth it. It not only boosted his dynamic vision, but also improved his striking accuracy. So, dealing with a low-tier martial artist like Bui Hu Kuang was a total cakewalk. Seeing Tich Kan approach, the bully's face turned green with fear. He pleaded again, please don't hit me again. Bro Kan, I'm begging you. Tich Kan squatted down, not hitting him, but using his intimidating gaze to ask, what was that move you just used? Hu Kuang, already terrified, didn't dare to hide anything. He immediately answered that it was internal energy, not a specific technique. Internal energy is about focusing energy from all over your body and releasing it through a technique. How do you train it? Who do you learn from? Tich Kan pressed on. Bro Kan, I've only learned the basics. I can't explain it clearly. Please let me go. This time, Tich Kan grabbed him by the collar. Playing dumb, are we? I heard you smoke, drink, dye your hair, murder, commit arson, and even hip-hop dance. A tough guy like you is giving up this easily? Faced with Tich Kan's terrifying expression up close, Hu Kuang actually started crying. He started calling Tich Kan his blood brother, begging for his life. He claimed all that stuff about smoking and drinking was just rumors he used to build his image as the school bully to intimidate others. If it were true, how could he still be in school? Seeing that he was probably telling the truth, Tich Kan finally let go, but not without a final threat. If you don't learn your lesson this time, I'll beat you up every time I see you from now on. Still, the fact that Hu Kuang bullied other students was undeniable. Tich Kan thought for a moment and ordered him to go home and write a self-criticism essay. Tomorrow morning, he had to read it aloud to the entire class 10 times and record a video for him to check. Hu Kuang didn't dare to refuse, nodding and agreeing repeatedly. Tich Kan suddenly pulled out his phone. The bully thought he was about to get hit again and screamed. The dojo's address, Tich Kan said curtly. Hu Kuang let out a sigh of relief. Since you said you don't know, I'll just go ask myself. After dealing with that cowardly punk, Tich Kan headed for the address he was given. By now, he had already entered the inner circle of the city. After that fight, the system generously gifted Tich Kan a ton of experience points. He had now unlocked a total of 7 skills. Normally, an hour of intense training at the gym would only increase his bodybuilding stat by about 200 EXP. But now, after just one fight that wasn't even tiring, he'd gained far more points than a regular workout, and even awakened a new skill. Tich Kan decided he needed to find more clowns looking for a beatdown. Lost in thought, he arrived at the address, the Kim Fong Dojo. From the outside, it didn't look half bad. Tich Kan pushed the door open, saying he wanted to look around. The female receptionist gestured for him to be quiet because the master was teaching. He looked where she was pointing. He saw an old man with white hair and a beard guiding 5 disciples in their training. The so-called breathing method is about activating the internal energy in your body through inhalation and exhalation. It's a fundamental skill. Only when the qi in your body circulates fully can you be considered to have entered the path of martial arts. As he spoke, he demonstrated for those below to follow. Seeing this, Tich Kan's eyes lit up. An entry-level technique? Isn't this exactly what he's been looking for? So, Tich Kan quietly asked the girl if he could join. Charmed by his good looks, she nodded in agreement, adding, "If it's too much, don't force yourself." With permission granted, Tich Kan walked over to an empty cushion. He sat down and started following the master's instructions. Although he looked serious, it was obviously his first time with martial arts, so the girl naturally didn't think he could do it. Inhale. Inhale until you can't anymore. Then go numb, the old man instructed. The disciples below started inhaling with all their might, but lung capacity has its limits. If they couldn't use the inhaled air to activate their internal energy, they would quickly run out of breath. One by one, they started giving up. This made the girl extremely worried, fearing that if she couldn't find a single promising disciple, the master would kick her out. Some time passed. After everyone else had failed, the old man suddenly stood up and slowly approached. The girl thought he was coming to settle scores with her and clasped her hands, begging, "Master, please give me a few more days. I'll definitely find a talent for you." To her surprise, he walked right past her. When she looked over, he put a finger to his lips, signaling silence, and whispered, "Don't speak. This child is still trying." The breathing technique he just taught sounded simple, but putting it into practice was quite difficult. The amount of oxygen forced into the lungs was so large that people with insufficient lung capacity weren't even qualified to practice it. Moreover, this vital energy kept expanding inside the body, feeling like it was about to explode. Yet, Tichkan managed to persevere until now. Only when the countdown ended did he gently exhale and open his eyes. As his vision cleared, Tichkan saw two worried faces waiting for him. "How do you feel? Are you uncomfortable anywhere?" Tichkan shook his head, saying that on the contrary, he felt a refreshing sensation throughout his body. And the system also recorded that he had successfully activated the internal energy skill. Seeing this, the girl looked like she'd struck gold. She immediately grabbed his hand and proposed, "Student, what's your name? Would you like to join our Kim Fong dojo?" Tichkan, of course, was interested. But before he could answer, a loud crash interrupted them. The dojo's glass window was shattered by something. Then, from outside, a large dark figure stormed in, casually attacking a dojo disciple. It was clearly a monster. People's horrified screams echoed through the room, and the student who was attacked was almost dead. What the hell is this thing? Tichkan wondered in shock. The others were already pale with fear. "Everyone, evacuate quickly! Don't push!" The old man was the calmest, immediately giving orders. "Manager Truong, please maintain order." The girl called Manager Truong quickly regained her composure and started evacuating the disciples. Unexpectedly, the demon seemed to change its target. It was preparing to aim for her. In the nick of time, Tichkan lunged forward. He pushed her aside, saving her from certain death. Manager Truong's eyes were filled with adoration and worship, her face as red as two tomatoes. "Thank you," she said, but her inner thoughts were far more daring. She was even kind of enjoying the feeling of Tichkan pressing down on her like this. His charisma skill gained another 20 points thanks to this girl's simping. But Tichkan had no time to notice. Bui Hukwang had said earlier that internal energy was about gathering energy from all over the body and releasing it through techniques. With this monster's appearance, it was the perfect opportunity for him to put it into practice. The very next second, the creature charged at him. Tichkan instinctively unleashed his internal energy. Although he hit the target, it seemed completely unfazed. He wondered if this thing was like a cockroach, able to withstand a force 300 times its own body weight. If that was the case, he'd have to change his strategy, focus all his power into a single point. Having figured it out, Tichkan immediately struck again. This time, it wasn't just a normal physical punch, it was infused with internal energy. That one blow instantly unlocked the inch force skill. This means generating force over an extremely short distance. And it sent that ugly creature flying. After winning, Tichkan casually dusted off his hands, remarking that it was much weaker than he had imagined. Manager Truong, watching from the side, couldn't hide the worship in her eyes, while the master next to her began to worry. Because Tichkan had only just grasped ki, releasing so much at once would be unbearable for a normal person's body. Not to mention, that cockroach thing wasn't dead yet. It stood up once again, now even more aggressive due to its injuries. Tichkan, however, showed no fear. He even beckoned with his finger, taunting his opponent. "Want more? The result will be the same every time." As he spoke, he gathered his internal energy, wanting to pull off another spectacular move like before. Unfortunately, before he could even strike, Tichkan tasted blood in his throat. Not only could he not attack, but he also suffered an internal injury without understanding what was happening. Seeing the cockroach monster charge towards him, Tichkan finally started to worry, deeply regretting that he had overplayed his hand this time. But just then, a flash of green light appeared. The monster's body was instantly sliced in two. Tichkan was saved in the nick of time. He was still wondering what just happened when the person who struck appeared. Doi Bak Nya, captain of squad 838, taking over this location. All unrelated personnel, please withdraw immediately. A girl with a killer figure and long silver hair appeared. This was the first time Tichkan had ever heard of something called the Doi Bak Nya. But this girl seemed incredibly strong, able to defeat that cockroach monster in a single blow. Could this organization be filled with powerhouses like her? While Tichkan was observing Bak Nya, she was also having many thoughts about him. Sizing him up, Tichkan looked to be only 17 or 18, yet he could injure that cockroach barehanded to this extent. And one more important thing, he was very handsome. This made Bak Nya even more excited, determined to find a reason to recruit him. No sooner said than done, she stepped forward. She pulled out a piece of paper and handed it to him. Seeing Tichkan's confused look, she reminded him, "This Sunday at 5 p.m. sharp, come to the address written on this paper. Then, I can tell you everything you want to know." Tichkan looked at the paper. It read 7th floor, Than Than Library, leaving him deep in thought. Afterwards, he left the dojo with Manager Truong and Old Man Lam. That Manager Truong seemed particularly worried, constantly asking Tichkan if he was okay and if he needed to go to the hospital. "I'm fine, really fine," Tichkan tried to convince her. "Thank you for letting me visit your dojo today. If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way." Manager Truong nodded, not forgetting to remind him to be sure to come tomorrow. But Old Man Lam, at her side, let out a long sigh. "I think it's unlikely. This kid has such power on his first contact with Chi. A small dojo like ours probably can't contain him." Tichkan walked a few more steps and, sure enough, received a system notification that he had just survived a fierce battle and gained 229 experience points. Many of his skills received bonus points. But right now, Tichkan was only focused on the newly unlocked Inch Force. That skill allowed him to concentrate his chi into a single point, accelerating to extreme speeds over the shortest distance. This way, even the toughest defense could be shattered. The feeling was so incredibly exhilarating that Tichkan wanted to experience it again. With that in mind, he began to gather his chi. But the feeling of his chest about to explode almost suffocated him. He remembered what Old Man Lam had told him at the dojo, so he decided not to risk it. He'd rest for the night and figure it out tomorrow. After all, today's haul was pretty decent. Doi Bak Na, the cockroach monster, their appearance today, made Tichkan wonder just how many secrets this world held that he didn't know about. He also decided to go to that location on the weekend. As he got close to home, Tichkan remembered the black cat. He pulled out his phone to check the security camera footage, just as he suspected it was doing something no cat should ever do, playing on the computer. The moment he got home, Tichkan put on a grim face. "Hey, what kind of mess were you making on my computer earlier?" The cat was so scared it broke out in a cold sweat and started meowing to suck up to him. Seeing this, Tichkan just sighed. "Not talking, huh? Fine, I'll deal with you after I get some sleep." He was too exhausted today anyway. Tichkan pushed it aside and collapsed onto the bed. Seeming to sense something was off with Tichkan, the cat came closer and sniffed him a few times. Its keen feline sense of smell immediately picked up the scent of blood. Did he get into a fight with someone? It thought. Damn it, he's my person. Who dares to bully him? This annoying feeling made the black cat decide to drop the act. It leaped onto the bed and spoke in a human voice. "Young man, tell me what happened." "Don't worry, just tell me. No matter what it is, I, Nin Fung Nap, the leader of the Long Jiao, will definitely stand up for you." Seeing it finally drop the charade, Tichkan just said, "I knew you were human." But at this point, he was completely drained. He pulled the covers up, deciding to sleep on it and deal with it later, leaving the black cat fuming because it couldn't get any information. When he woke up the next morning, Tichkan was full of energy again. He cooked up a delicious spread. Across from him, the black cat was stuffing its face while asking, "So, you weren't beaten up by someone, but you defeated a monster?" Although it was Bak Nya who ultimately finished off the creature, Tichkan still grunted in response to Fung Nap's question. The cat's face grew pensive as it muttered, "Never heard of one of those things getting into the city center." Lost in thought, Fung Nap didn't notice that Tichkan had already stood up. By the time she snapped out of it, he was standing right in front of her. He reached out a friendly hand and started petting her head. "Thanks for worrying about me. Ho ni." Hon 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 ni. Suddenly being petted on the head, Fung Nap's cheeks flushed. And that cheesy nickname made her even more flustered. Don't call me Hon Ni. You must respectfully address me as Your Highness, the cult leader, Fung Nap said seriously, but her words had zero effect on Tik Kan. He just chuckled and replied. Then he held out his phone. All right, Your Highness Hon Ni. Since Your Highness Hon Nai can talk now, how about you explain what Your Highnesses was doing here? The phone showed footage of Fung Nap seriously using Tich Kan's computer. Caught red-handed, she was so embarrassed she was at a loss for words. After a moment of internal struggle, Fung Nap lifted her tail, explaining that the golden ring is called a cat-tail ring, a type of divine relic. She was online researching it. Tich Kan casually sat down and took Fung Nap's tail in his hand. It was one thing when she was playing dumb, but now that he knew she was a transformed person, this contact made Fung Nap so embarrassed she wanted to dig a hole and hide. So this thing is a divine relic, huh? Tich Kan muttered, 287 years ago, God died. They say the golden specks of light that scattered back then were divine relics. I'd only heard stories before, but now I finally get to see one. No wonder it could absorb divinity. How long are you going to keep touching my tail? Although Fung Nap didn't want to interrupt Tich Kan, she had to cut in. Only then did he realize he might have crossed a line. He cleared his throat, let go, and resumed a serious demeanor. So, you were looking for how to use it? No, I want to take it off, Fung Nap replied glumly. Then she started talking about her faction. She said she was the leader of the Long Jiao, the biggest gang in Tin Than. They not only controlled the business of entertainment venues, but also collaborated with dojos for things like medicine trade. Perhaps because their power grew too strong, making many people green with envy, Fung Nap was attacked in her own villa. They put this thing on her and turned her into a cat. By the time Fung Nap managed to escape, the Long Jiao had already fallen into someone else's hands. Only by removing this ring can she return to her human form. Fung Nap swore that when that time comes, she will eliminate every single one of those people. So what's your plan now? If you can't find anything online, the library will probably be just as hard, Tich Kan asked. At this, Fung Nap crossed her front paws with a smug look. As for that, this cult leader has had a plan all along. And that is for you to go practice martial arts and get super strong. Seeing her so confident and bombastic, Tich Kan thought he misheard. Wait a minute. How are those two things related? Of course they are, Nin Fung Nap explained. After you become powerful, organizations will definitely seek you out. Who knows, one of them might have a divine relic. Then you can follow that clue to investigate, and you'll surely find a way to remove the cattail ring. Tich Kan felt like she had hit the nail on the head, because just yesterday, the Doi Bak Nya had already noticed him. Fung Nap didn't know that and was still passionately saying she had to introduce Tich Kan to the best dojo. It was called Tang Long. Tich Kan had of course heard of this name. Back when he wanted to learn martial arts, he had researched the tuition fees of all the dojos in Tin Than, and the Tang Long dojo was the most expensive of them all. But it wasn't the high fees that left an impression on him. It was the one-star reviews all over the internet. They said it was a terrible dojo, the teaching quality was nowhere near worth the price, and they just sent a few girls to supervise each day. They don't even guide you. They just stand there and curse you out, Tich Kan recounted. Fung Nap snorted contemptuously. Those useless fools. If they can't even handle a little hardship, what's the point of learning martial arts? In the world of true martial artists, no one dares to look down on the Tang Long dojo. So how do I get in? Tich Kan asked again. Through the rules of the underworld, of course. A challenge. Hearing her say that, he thought he had to go and smash up someone's dojo. The moment he voiced this thought, Fung Nap shot him a look of disdain. She called him a country bumpkin who's never seen the world. The fight she was talking about was an interview, not the destructive rampage he was imagining. Usually, disciples in the dojo are divided by rank. Even if you pay your way in and work hard, without talent, it's useless. These money disciples are the most numerous, but also the lowest ranked. A step above are the gifted disciples, and at the very top are the challengers. Even talented people need raw power. If it takes them 8 or 10 years to succeed, they're useless. On the path of martial arts, mentality is especially important. Only with an invincible mindset can you unleash an invincible fist. A challenge is a form of self-recommendation, and also the best way to prove this mindset. Fung Nap unloaded a stream of information that Tich Kan couldn't process all at once. Then, she gracefully flicked her tail and leaped onto the windowsill. Remember to go to the dojo tomorrow. I have some business to take care of now. The next day, Tich Kan surprisingly showed up at the Tanglong Dojo for real. Hello, student. Welcome to the Tanglong Dojo. A young man stepped forward to greet Tich Kan. Seeing his outstretched hand, our boy politely took it. He was about to explain why he was there, but it turned out this was no ordinary handshake. The man was using a lot of force, and his grip kept getting tighter. Tich Kan immediately understood this was another test, and if it was a test, he had to take it seriously. Luckily, he was well rested from yesterday, so he could gather his chi today. Using what he learned, Tich Kan quickly turned the tables, squeezing the guy's hand so hard he cried out in pain. Okay, it hurts, let go. Seeing the commotion, other disciples from the Tanglong Dojo gathered around, laughing and mocking their friend. Haha, don't mind him, student. This guy's a martial arts fanatic, always wants to challenge everyone. I've lost count of how many times he's lost. You guys shut up, he shouted, his face red with anger. Tich Kan thought, so he's just another show-off amateur. Suddenly, someone yelled, "Look, the old master and some of the legacy disciples are here. What's going on?" Even the old master came? The old master they were talking about was Lai, that, sitting in a wheelchair pushed by his disciple, Truk Son An. Behind them were three other disciples, Manhwa Thuong, Manthan Kie, and Tran Fu Quang. But the main point was the thing sitting on the old master's lap wasn't that Feng Nap. Seeing such a grand entrance, the dojo disciples couldn't help but worry, whispering among themselves, even the legacy disciples who never come out are all here. What big event is this? Is our dojo going bankrupt? Seeing Feng Nap also appear, sitting so confidently on Lai, that's lap, Tich Kan was pretty surprised too. The wheelchair moved a bit closer, and the old man signaled for everyone to be quiet. Then he looked straight at Tich Kan and asked, "Are you the one who came to challenge us?" Tich Kan saw Feng Nap winking at him from across the room. He didn't know what she had told the old master, but he got the hint and replied, "Yes, I am." Lai, that's expression was unreadable. Was it joy, sadness, excitement, or contempt? It had been a long time since anyone dared to challenge him. Lai, that asked again, "Young man, do you think you have what it takes?" What it takes? Now that you ask, I'm not so sure myself. Tich Kan scratched his head. After all, Lai that looked pretty strong, and he was old. As for him, even with the system, his combat-related skills were all pretty low level. How about this? I'll ask you a few questions. Lai, that spoke again. Of course, Tich Kan didn't refuse. And so, a back and forth between them began, the atmosphere incredibly tense. What's your name? Tich Kan. How old are you? 17. Where do you live? What do your parents do? Are you an only child? Any siblings? Hearing this, Tich Kan started to feel something was off. He came here for a challenge, not a blind date. Why was he getting a full family background check? And Lai, that looked particularly serious. It wasn't until Feng Nap, in his lap, coughed lightly that old Lai burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, don't be in such a hurry. My future son-in-law is at the door, so, of course, I have to ask a few more questions." Tich Kan looked at Feng Nap, completely baffled. He whispered to her, "What's going on?" Feng Nap jumped as if she'd been pricked by a needle and shrieked, "How should I know?" "Master, whether he's qualified or not, we'll have to find out after a fight." The girl, Son An, spoke up, cracking her knuckles. Then she got into a fighting stance. "Don't worry, little junior brother, I'll go easy on you." Although she didn't look like she was going to hold back at all, conveniently, Tich Kan didn't want her to either. He wanted to see what he was capable of. He also took a stance, beckoning with 2 fingers out of habit, "Please." A large crowd of dojo disciples gathered to watch. They never expected their esteemed senior sister to fight today. It looked like Tich Kan wasn't going to leave in one piece. Only Feng Nap had mixed feelings, muttering to herself, "I told you it was a blind date. Why do you still want to fight?" "Little junior brother, be careful," Sun An gave a friendly reminder. Feng Nap was actually a little worried for him. However, on her very first punch, Tich Kan dodged it, and he didn't stop there. He smoothly caught her wrist. Then he executed a beautiful takedown. Sun An was flat on the ground. Her head was spinning. She didn't even understand what had just happened before she was taken down. The other legacy disciples of Lai, that behind them couldn't help but chuckle. They all agreed that Tich Kan's observation and timing were incredibly precise. Old Lai was even more excited than the kids, laughing loudly. Ha ha ha, you really found an outstanding seedling for this old man. Of course. Who do you think I am? Fung Nap puffed out her chest proudly. She answered with a tone full of arrogance, feeling that her earlier worry for Tichkan was completely unnecessary. Sanan was still knocked out on the ground. Tichkan looked at her, then back at Lai That, cautiously asking if his challenge today was considered a success. Just now, he had gone through a battle where the weak defeated the strong, so the system was naturally a bit more generous. It awarded him a ton of experience points. Lai That looked at him for a long time, as if sizing him up. Tichkan had never practiced martial arts, yet he could defeat Truk-Sonan in a single blow. Forget just getting into the dojo. He was more than qualified to become a legacy disciple. This old man changed his tune real quick. A moment ago, he was acting all stern, and now he's grinning from ear to ear. So, isn't it about time we change how we address each other? Tichkan was stunned for a few seconds because this was going much smoother than he expected. But he quickly regained his composure, clasped his hands, and said respectfully, "Greetings, master, senior brothers, and senior sisters." The group, including Fu Kuang and Than Kyo, seemed very pleased with their new junior brother, smiling nonstop. Sanan finally managed to sit up. It seemed being defeated by Tichkan had embarrassed her greatly, but since he was greeting his new seniors, she couldn't be left out. "Hey, what about me? I'm Truk-Sanan, your sixth senior sister. I was just careless earlier. Don't get arrogant just because you won once." "Thank you for the guidance, sixth senior sister." Tichkan wasn't arrogant at all. He even bowed low in response. Turns out, before he arrived, this girl was the youngest legacy disciple, which explained her somewhat childish personality. Afterwards, Tichkan was led by a girl named Tu Tui to complete the initiation procedures. She addressed him very formally as Young Master Tich, which made him a little embarrassed. Lai That explained that his legacy disciples held a special status. No one in the dojo was allowed to look down on them. From today, Tichkan officially had an inner circle household registration, so calling him Young Master Tich was appropriate. But Tichkan just couldn't get used to it. He reluctantly suggested, "Can we change the address? Young Master Tich sounds weird." "Then how about Master Kan?" Tu Tui suggested. That sounded even more stressful. Tichkan could only sigh and let them call him whatever they wanted. So he and Fung Nap followed Tu Tui to handle the initiation paperwork. While they waited, they chatted a bit. The challenge wasn't as hard as you made it out to be. Sanan went down in one move. "You're the one who lost. She's actually much stronger than you," Fung Nap explained lazily. Martial arts isn't just about numbers. Mood, condition, information, decisions, luck. All of these things can be key factors that influence victory or defeat. Just like Sanan said, she just underestimated her opponent because she thought you were a blank slate. If she had been more careful and let you make your move before counterattacking, the outcome would have been different. But regardless, Tichkan was still the winner of that match. His admission to the dojo was a done deal. Hearing Fung Nap's explanation, Tichkan suddenly felt a little unhappy, realizing he had won by luck. But that only strengthened his resolve to train harder from now on. At that moment, Tichkan remembered something and asked, "Oh, right. Where did you go last night? You didn't stay at the dojo all night, did you?" "Of course. If you want to get someone in, you have to greet Mr. Lai, right? Back in the day, he almost cucked my grandpa." Hearing Fung Nap casually talk about her elders' complicated love lives, Tichkan had no idea how to respond. Just then, Tu Tui finished the paperwork and handed him an identification card. She instructed Tichkan that starting tomorrow, he just needed to scan the card to enter. But Tichkan didn't go home that day. The next morning, the earliest arriving disciples already saw him training. When they heard that Tichkan had stayed at the dojo all night training on his first day, everyone looked at him like he was some kind of terrifying monster. Only Master Lai That was extremely strict. Even though Tichkan was exhausted and gasping for air, he wouldn't let him give up. "If you don't persevere a little longer, all of last night's effort will be wasted." Tichkan was also a stubborn guy. Sweat was pouring down his face, and his entire body was on the verge of collapse, but he still refused to quit. It wasn't until the status window popped up with a level up notification that he finally let out a breath and collapsed backward. A radiant smile spread across Lai That's face. He said that in his life, he had accepted many disciples, but Tichkan was the strongest. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before Tichkan could cultivate the secret technique of the Tanglong school. The moment he heard that, Tichkan, who had been lying flat on his back, suddenly shot up. What is that technique? How much do I have to train to learn it? Seeing his eyes shining like headlights, that was certain this was the most martial arts crazed kid he'd ever met. He held out a hand and told Titch-kan to grab it tightly. Our boy quickly understood this was another test and grabbed his master's hand. Then, that began to channel his internal energy. Immediately, Titch-kan felt a massive amount of true chi flowing into his body, and he was completely unable to resist it. His face gradually turned grim. Only then did that let go, asking a seemingly unrelated question. What sports do you usually play? Just running. I don't really do anything else. Master, is there something wrong with my body? Titch-kan couldn't hide his anxiety. That shook his head, saying there was nothing seriously wrong. It was just that he felt Titch-kan's body was as if it had been sculpted by a god with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Every muscle, every bone, every organ was balanced and perfect to a terrifying degree. To put it simply, Titch-kan was a prodigy born to practice martial arts. Although he said that, Titch-kan knew immediately that this achievement was thanks to the system and his stat panel. More accurately, his body had improved this rapidly after activating the hand-to-hand combat skill. In a way, he really could be considered a genius, because outsiders, of course, didn't know about the system. So, can I learn the Tang Long technique now? Titch-kan asked seriously, his expression a bit intimidating. What's the hurry? You just joined yesterday. After a whole night of training, your body is full of injuries. Rushing to cultivate the technique now would be like courting death. Titch-kan didn't want to admit it, but since his master said so, he agreed. That advised him to go to his room and rest first. He would have someone bring the Thui Long recovery cream later. So, he obediently returned to his room to rest. It wasn't long before a knock sounded at the door. Sun-on burst in with an excited face, holding a tube of ointment. Junior brother, let your senior sister help treat your injuries. Sixth senior sister, why did you come all this way? Titch-kan looked at her dangerous expression, wondering, this girl isn't here to get revenge on me, is she? Sun-on waved for Titch-kan to sit down. Junior brother, take off your clothes. He didn't hesitate to unbutton his shirt, revealing his incredible abs. Sun-on's eyes lit up. Not bad, huh? Titch-kan asked directly. Senior sister Truk is too kind. So, what's next? Sun-on then got down to business. Come on, lie down here. A notification popped up. Someone has developed a high level of affection for you. Charisma plus 45. She went to get something while he lay still on the bed. That's right, be good and don't move. Then Sun-on directly applied the cream to Titch-kan's body, startling him a bit. Wait. Hearing that, not only did she not stop, but she pushed even further. I told you not to move. Titch-kan was sweating buckets, lying there helplessly. What is this girl trying to do? Suddenly, Sun-on seductively pressed her sensitive areas against his body. Junior brother, don't look at me like that. She kept rubbing and speaking flirtatiously to Titch-kan. Actually, I'm a pretty competitive person. He blushed, staring at Sun-on's fingers and thinking to himself, her hand strength is pretty impressive. She was practically about to lie on top of him, say something. He could only laugh it off and stammer, it's nothing, as long as senior sister is happy. Hearing this, Sun-on started to feign anger. She turned her face away and said poutily, all right, I was wrong. It was clearly my own carelessness that I lost to you, yet I still thought about getting even, taking the opportunity to tease you. At this moment, Titch-kan gained another 45 charisma points. Sun-on's face was flushed, her voice carrying a hint of pleading. Don't be mad at me, okay? Just like that, he easily gained 90 charisma points. Titch-kan lay down completely, sighed, and replied, I'm not mad, it just hurts a little. Continue, senior sister, don't mind me. Hearing this, Sun-on immediately sat up and made a request. All right then, the upper body is done. Now take off your pants. Titch-kan was so shocked, he jumped. Then he quickly grabbed her hand. I can do the lower part myself. I won't trouble senior sister anymore. Sun-on couldn't help but laugh at Titch-kan's reaction. Just kidding. Look how scared I made you. She handed him the tube of cream and said, well then, I'll have to trouble 7th junior brother to do it himself. After saying that, Sun-on skipped away. Titch-kan gained 98 experience points 3 times in a row. Scene change. He walked down the street, his body aching, and couldn't help but complain, that was terrifying. She almost disassembled me. At this point, his combat skill had reached level 3, and his internal energy had leveled up to 4. Tichkan was thrilled. Leveled up, right? Since I have nothing else to do now, it's the perfect time to go to that library appointment. He held the business card with the name Doi Bak Na and whispered to himself, the name sounds pretty cringy, but it's actually the Special Police Force of Tin Than. Tichkan looked ahead, a bit confused. But if they're looking for me, why meet at a library? Scene change to the Tin Than Library. On the 7th floor, after walking around for a bit, he thought to himself, it's empty. Not a single soul. Are they messing with me? Suddenly, a voice called out, Tichkan, you're here. He turned around instinctively. It was a girl named Aotin who approached him. Hello, my name is Eungu Aotin. Tichkan silently analyzed her name. Aw as in tender, tin as in clear sky. Then he spoke up and asked, the contact? Tichkan followed her to a table in a well-ventilated area. He asked, why meet me at a library? Aotin replied, she's my informant. As she pulled out a chair, she continued to explain, secretly introducing someone to me, of course, we can't go to the special police headquarters. At first, I was skeptical. Aotin sat down, her eyes full of goodwill as she looked at Tichkan. But after meeting you, I'm convinced. The moment he sat down, she got straight to the point, join us. Aotin calmly asked, why? He was a bit surprised to see her open some kind of book to read. Before Tichkan could ask, she spoke first. You want to know about divine relics, don't you? It seems my guess was correct. Aotin asked suspiciously, how did you learn about the concept of divine relics? But Tichkan had no intention of answering. I can't say. She politely picked up a water bottle to pour him a drink. While doing so, Aotin remained cheerful. It's okay if you don't want to talk. It's my fault for not providing information up front. She pointed to the glass she just poured and said, have a taste. Tichkan didn't hesitate and drank it all in one go. Then he put the glass down on the table and asked, isn't this just purified water? Aotin didn't explain, instead pouring water into another kettle. Then, from that kettle, she poured it back into his glass. Aotin said softly, taste it again. Tichkan asked again, isn't this just purified water? What are you trying to do? Then he proceeded to drink the glass of water. After drinking, Tichkan couldn't help but be amazed. It's sweet now. Then Aotin looked at the kettle in her hand and said, 287 years ago, God died. She slowly recounted its history. Or, more accurately, the gods died. The points of light that scattered when they died became, we temporarily call it the blood of the gods. That substance has attached itself to people and objects. The blood of the gods fell and attached to objects, creatures, and perhaps even a fragment of human dreams. The kettle in Aotin's hand was one example. The things that the blood of the gods attached to are called divine relics. The sweet water jug, code God 1567, is one of those divine relics. Tichkan was a bit curious and reached out, wanting to take the jug. Can I see it? Who knows if you didn't put sugar in the jug beforehand? She agreed without hesitation. Of course. The moment he touched it, his divinity stat started to skyrocket. Tichkan felt a glimmer of hope. So it's true, you can absorb divinity by touching divine relics. My active skill might actually be salvageable. What does it do? Pours out sweet water without adding sugar? Or can it boil water out of thin air? The longer he held it, the more his divinity soared. Aotin couldn't help but laugh at Tichkan's astonished reaction. You're getting close. Guess again. This kid looks like he's never seen the world before. Kinda cute. He lifted the jug high and discovered another cool feature. It seems like the water level isn't dropping. The water in this jug is infinite, Aotin replied. That's right, you're smart. His divinity stat just kept climbing. Seeing this, Aotin chuckled lightly. That's enough. You can activate your active skill now. She sat back down, a smile on her face, but her words held a hidden meaning. As an outstanding student of Tinfu High School, you should understand what this means, right? Tichkan replied coldly, it ignores all the physical laws of this world. Then he tried to analyze it carefully. In that case, isn't this sweet water jug a perpetual motion machine? Something that can reverse the fundamental laws of the universe? Could the continuous power supply in the inner circle be related to this? Aotin suddenly snapped her fingers to get Tichkan's attention. Don't overthink it. The very existence of divine relics represents absurdity. They are things that humans cannot replicate. At this point, he asked with some suspicion, why are you actively telling me all this? Aotin then handed him her business card and said, 3 days ago, as an ordinary person, you defeated a monster. Faced with a terrifying, mysterious creature, you showed no fear. Tichkan took the business card as Aotin continued, "Mentally, you've already surpassed the vast majority of people. Therefore," she extended her hand, her words full of sincerity as she invited him, "I hope you can join our Ngothi Divine Relic Collection Company." Without a second thought, Tichkan immediately shook her hand vigorously. "Big sis, please let me join your team." His aura was blazing. Tichkan declared loudly, "I will definitely be absolutely obedient, my good big sis. A Divine Relic Collection Company, a godly workplace like this, I have to get in." Tichkan excitedly thought about the rewards he would get. The Divine Relic Containment Company, just from the name, I know I'll get to interact with a lot of divine relics. I'm about to be rich. He joyfully imagined himself hugging a pile of relics. Right now, the only source of divinity is divine relics. Just the passive twin skill is already so strong. The active skill must be even more broken. Tichkan burst out laughing as if he was the only one there. "In this world, no one will be able to beat me." Aotin just looked on, exasperated. Such a newbie. Then she took a piece of paper out of her bag. Aotin handed it to him and said, "Look over the contract first. If there are no issues, then sign it." Tichkan took it and read it over. He thought to himself, it's no different from a normal employment contract, just with an added confidentiality clause. Then Tichkan asked, "Is this job very dangerous?" Aotin immediately explained the nature of the work. Divine relics are classified into 4 levels, A, B, C, and D, based on their danger level. Since you're new, the company will only assign you D-level tasks. As long as you follow the steps, there will be no danger at all. Then she smiled lightly and said, "After today, once you've matured, you'll start being assigned the truly dangerous jobs." Tichkan asked further, "What about A-level?" Aotin immediately reassured and explained to him, "You don't need to worry about that for now. When divine relics of that level appear, it's not something an individual or a single company can handle. That's when the official state agency will step in." But Tichkan still had doubts. He slammed the contract down on the table and asked, "Last question. Why me? Even if I've come into contact with a divine relic, that doesn't mean I'm qualified, right?" In his mind, he thought, she doesn't know I have a system panel. Nor does she know I'm training in martial arts. Inviting me to join based solely on an informant's word? Something doesn't add up. Aotin said softly, "You're wrong about one thing." She brushed her hair back, her aura overwhelming as she corrected Tichkan. "It's not that you came into contact with a divine relic, but that a divine relic came into contact with you." Hearing that made him a little uncomfortable. "What do you mean?" Then Aotin lowered her head slightly and explained, "Divine relics themselves must possess some degree of will." She recalled her own early days of contact with relics. "They will actively approach those who attract them," Aotin continued. "And among humans, there is a type that can actively attract divine relics. I am one of them." Then suddenly she pointed at Tichkan. "And you," Aotin's face was full of confidence, "happen to have the same constitution as me. Being able to offer this salary is enough to prove my sincerity." After hearing this, Tichkan couldn't help but think, so I'm that amazing. Huh? No wonder they were in such a hurry to pull me into their group. He finally put pen to paper and signed the contract. "Honestly, the salary doesn't matter. I just really like divine relics." Tichkan put it down and stood up happily. "I look forward to your guidance from now on, my good big sis." Aotin took the contract and broke into a bright smile. "A pleasure to work with you." Then Tichkan also left. "If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." Aotin politely bid him farewell, goodbye. As he walked, Tichkan thought to himself, "Tang, Long Dojo, and collecting divine relics, just these 2 things are enough to keep me busy. I probably won't have time for school anymore." He then pulled out his phone and messaged Lai Ka to ask for a leave of absence for him. Besides, a monthly salary of 200,000, I wouldn't make that much even 10 years after graduation. He silently made a definite plan for himself. The most urgent thing is still to increase my strength first. Only by becoming stronger will I have a hope of returning. Scene changed to the outer ring. While walking, he casually opened the system panel. First, let's take a good look at what this active skill is all about. Outer ring, A side. The information panel popped up in full. Twin level 1, divinity needed for upgrade. 50 halves, 100. Passive, possess 2 lives, after death can freely choose respawn time within 7 days, cooldown 3 months. Active, not unlocked. Unlock condition. Divinity, 50 halves, 500. Can be unlocked now. Divinity incarnation, not unlocked. Unlock condition. Divinity 50 over 22, 000, level reach 10. Activate twin active skill. Tichkan tapped yes on the system. Twin active skill. At level 1, can assign one ability related to the user's body. When used, it will create a doubling effect. Please select for activation. After reading the system panel, Tichkan slowly thought, does this mean if I choose physical strength, when I use twin, my strength will double? He began to calculate carefully. I already have a revive passive, so defense seems pointless. Besides, I'm already pretty tanky. My main attack method is aiming, which doesn't rely on strength. After some deliberation, he decided to tap action speed on the screen. In the world of martial arts, only speed is unbeatable. I'll choose speed first. Gotta create a control group. Otherwise, I won't be able to see how strong this skill really is. Once he got the skill, Tichkan immediately wanted to try it out. It's about 100 meters to that street lamp. I'll run it once first, see how long it takes. The moment he finished speaking, Tichkan shot forward like a bullet. The result was a 100-meter run in just over 10 seconds. Tichkan was satisfied with that. Not bad. Then he hit the skill activation button. After activating the skill, the run back should be a bit faster, right? Tichkan got into a running stance. Twin. His running speed was now no different from a rocket. Engage. Because his running time was cut in half, Tichkan left a long trail of fire in his wake. When he stopped, Tichkan's whole body was trembling. He gasped for air and said, twice as fast, this twin skill is something else. Tichkan started to ponder. For someone to improve their 100-meter sprint time from 20 seconds to 12 seconds is relatively easy. You just need to stick to a period of high-intensity training. But after that, every 0.1 second improvement requires hundreds, even thousands of times more effort. Without enough talent and resources, it's completely impossible. Tichkan imagined the worst-case scenarios. Suppose I'm in a close-quarters fight with someone where I can't afford to make even the slightest mistake. He outlined a plan for himself then. Once I activate the skill, no one will be able to predict this absurd, intuition-defying speed boost. This is a finishing move. Tichkan looked at his fists with immense excitement. This is Twin, a divine skill that breaks the rules, ignoring physical laws and bodily limits. He then opened the system panel to continue testing, but while my body is still warm, let's try a few more times. Then suddenly Tichkan froze. Hey, why does this thing have a cooldown too? System, are you kidding me? Gradually, he calmed down enough to think it over. From the moment I activated the ability until now, including the full duration, it's only been about 20 seconds. It seems I'll have to use this with careful calculation from now on. Looking at the system panel and cooldown, Tichkan couldn't help but wonder. I wonder when it'll be ready again. So, Tichkan returned home in a gloomy mood. I'll go home for now. It was late, and his eyes were getting heavy. Training all day, my whole body aches. First, a hot bath, then a good night's sleep. And just like that, Tichkan closed his eyes. Tomorrow, I have to go to the dojo. The next morning, his stomach rumbled uncontrollably. Tichkan was so hungry, he had to wake up. He immediately opened his phone to check. I slept for 6 hours? Then he was startled to realize he had slept in the hallway. Why did I sleep in the hallway? Next, Tichkan opened the system to see if the skill had cooled down. First, let's see how much the twin ability has recovered. It's almost done. So, every second of using twin requires 1,000 seconds of cooldown. If used completely, it will take 6 hours to recover. At that moment, a furious message from Sun-On arrived. Junior brother, why haven't you come to practice yet? After receiving it, Tichkan immediately rushed off. Crap, I'm going to be late. Scene changed to the Tanglong dojo. Tichkan burst through the door. Inside, Sun-On was cracking the knuckles of a junior disciple. After seeing him arrive, she became cheerful. 7th junior brother. Sun-On then walked over to Tichkan. You came at the perfect time. She directly pulled his hand. Let's have a sparring match to show them the correct way to use force. Loi-chan asked excitedly, who do you guys think will lose? Tranliet happily replied, is there even a question? Last time, senior sister Truk was clearly careless. Junior brother just started learning martial arts. How could he possibly win? Loi-chan said with concern, I hope senior sister Truk goes easy on him. Don't break our junior brother. Tik Kan immediately understood San An's intention. Again, she says it's for a demonstration, but she clearly wants to regain her face from last time. But this time, she definitely won't be as careless. But he was more than willing to play along. No problem. I was just wanting to test my abilities. Sixth senior sister, please give me your guidance. Sanan's eyes were resolute as she threw a punch towards Tik Kan. At that moment, taking advantage of her opening, he moved as fast as lightning, confusing Sanan for a moment. Before she could defend herself, he grabbed her arm. Tik Kan showed no mercy, throwing Sanan to the ground so hard she could only let out a surprised yelp. Sanan's head was spinning as she questioned herself. Why? I clearly used my full strength. Why did I still lose? At this moment, his eyes showed no pity as he coldly adjusted his jacket and said, seriously, I went easy on you. Senior Sister Truk, you have experienced a battle. Sparring experience points plus 97. Then, to the shocked and bewildered amazement of the crowd, he walked away calmly as the system announced, you have experienced a battle. Gym experience points plus 81. You have experienced a battle, feeling happy. Health preservation experience points plus 49. You have experienced a battle. Precision aim experience points plus 26. Tik Kan's steady steps headed towards the main gate of the sect, followed by rewards from the system. You have experienced a battle. Chi circulation experience points plus 69. Chi circulation leveled up to level 2, 9/500. Then, looking at his system stats, he stroked his chin and muttered, it doesn't count as an underdog victory anymore, huh? Does the panel think that after activating Twin Speed, I'm no longer weaker than Truk Sanan? The more he thought about his opponent, the more excited Tik Kan became about what he gained from sparring with her. Truk Sanan has rich combat experience and was on guard against me, but still couldn't react in time. Twin, this ability is terrifyingly powerful. It seems my future training focus should be on how to best utilize the speed difference. Suddenly, Fu Kuang called out to him from a distance, Junior brother, want to practice the Chaplong technique together? Tik Kan, extremely eager, agreed without hesitation. Sounds good. Please guide me, fifth senior brother. For some reason, as if realizing something, Fu Kuang said, martial arts, wait, this is... His expression when looking at Tik Kan was now one of utter shock, then fear, as he broke out in a cold sweat. Junior brother, I thought you were bluffing about practicing the Chaplong technique all night, but it turns out you've almost mastered Dragon Chi. Fu Kuang felt a mix of shame and amazement as he pointed at the surging spiritual energy within Tik Kan. For a first-timer to practice for just half an hour, that's ridiculous. Dragon Chi. Suddenly, Fu Kuang hesitated before continuing. But in the martial arts world, there's a legend of the ultimate physical realm. He patiently explained in detail to Tik Kan, it's called the treasure body, meaning refining one's physical body into a treasure. In this realm, the body can achieve 5 ultimate states. The more he spoke, the more excited he became, pointing out, the practitioner will have dragon tendons and elephant flesh, meaning their muscles will feel like they have a water dragon living inside them. In the next stage, the body will transform, achieving iron tree sinews, meaning the sinews and meridians become like the roots of a cycad tree. Next, their body can become glazed and flawless skin, meaning their skin is smooth and perfect like glass. Then comes unalterable jade bone, meaning they refine their bones into indestructible, unchangeable jade bones, incredibly sturdy. Finally, there's blood that melts gold. When using qi, the blood throughout the body boils with a temperature like volcanic lava. Fu Kuang humorously patted Tik Kan on the shoulder, joking, which made him a bit reluctant. But this is just a myth, because no one can actually do it. In his heart, he was resolute and silently made a decision. Not necessarily. What others can't do, for me, is not impossible. Maybe I can give it a try, become a martial arts myth. Suddenly, a loud, shattering sound came from the window, caused by Ba Thuong bursting in. Now, a flash of alarm appeared in Tik Kan's eyes. As for Fu Kuang, he was terrified, his face pale as he called out, Senior brother! The ground was littered with glass shards from the impact Ba Thuong caused. He struck a super cool pose while Fu Kuang, putting a comforting hand on Tik Kan's shoulder, introduced him. Come on, junior brother, let me introduce you. This is our senior brother, the most powerful person in the Tanglong dojo, Man Ba Thuong. While introducing Ba Thuong, He took the opportunity to mock him. He's a bit of a weirdo, doesn't like to talk, a muscle freak, hates trouble, supreme martial power, obsessed with his wife, and doesn't like using the main door. Tichkan stepped closer to observe while he was rambling on, and likes to break windows and jump in. He suddenly looked on in amazement, his eyes wide with observation. The view from the window was incredibly high. He thought to himself, jumping from the first floor up here? How much strength would that take? At this point, Fu Kuang quickly caught on and asked Bathwang, "Senior brother, did you need me for something?" He gestured with his hands for him to understand. "I get it." Then he gave Tichkan a few instructions before preparing to leave. "Junior brother, I have some business to handle. I'm heading out first. Remember this." The atmosphere among them suddenly became unusually serious as Fu Kuang spoke with Bathwang's agreement. The essence of the Chaplong technique is power, circulation, and shaping. Leaving Tichkan confused by his words, the two quickly disappeared. Power, circulation, shaping. He quickly got into a preparatory stance and thought, that's right. He quickly focused on meditation. Lately, I've been thinking about how to increase the amount of qi, but I haven't considered the shaping aspect. Maybe I can try combining it with my aiming ability. After a period of time, he took a deep breath, as if about to undergo a transformation. 3 hours later, a golden aura grew increasingly dense, enveloping Tichkan's body. His ears began to change, with distinct, hardened veins appearing. Suddenly, Tichkan opened his eyes, formed a hand sign, and aimed. He unleashed a terrifying beam of power that shattered rocks and sent dust flying everywhere. Tichkan was overjoyed, looking at the results of his training. This is way more powerful than a roadside pebble. Applause came from a distance, from an unknown source. It turned out to be Lai That and Than Q, who had come over because of the noise. "I never expected, Master, that besides your outstanding physical talent, you would also have such a gift for power circulation." He was extremely excited and handed Tichkan a medicinal pill. "Eat it." He didn't hesitate to take it from Lai. That's hand. He quickly popped it into his mouth. Suddenly, Lai, That's eyes widened as he opened his third eye and told him, "Little Can, look at me." After looking into Lai, That's eyes, Tichkan's whole body shook on the spot. He was extremely confused, thinking to himself as he found himself in another dimension. What is this? Where am I? What did Master do to me? Suddenly, a pill appeared from the middle of a lake. From within that pill, a golden dragon, covered in wounds and somewhat less majestic, appeared before him. At this moment, the dragon looked at Tichkan with a hint of pain. It seemed as if he and the dragon shared the same affliction, as his eyes gradually changed color. Tichkan's entire body merged with the dragon, covered in a layer of golden scales. What is this now? Then Tichkan showed a pained expression and held his head. The qi in my body is running wild. The power bestowed by the golden dragon shocked him a little. Is it the effect of that pill? Tichkan took a deep breath and quickly stabilized his qi. He stood in a horse stance, gradually regulating the surging qi flow. First, stabilize the qi, then we'll talk. Chaplong technique. The more he endured, the more uncomfortable he felt. His face flushed and contorted in Renne. In Tichkan's mental world, he sat cross-legged in meditation. This feels amazing. All distracting thoughts have disappeared. A pair of dragon claws appeared in his spiritual world. The golden dragon was now healed, calmly observing Tichkan. It quickly coiled around him as he cultivated. I just need to focus on my training. Gradually, a golden light appeared from within the dragon's claws, coalescing into a sphere of light. Now Tichkan and the dragon had merged into one. A system notification sounded. Conditions met to activate visualization skill. Visualization level 1, 0/300. When he opened his eyes again, they had turned red. Tichkan was stunned, looking around, which made That chuckle. "Why are you back? If you didn't come back, I'm afraid your qi would have been completely depleted." He was extremely satisfied, stroking his beard and praising the curious boy. "To cultivate dragon qi on your first try, Little Can, you are truly brilliant." "What is dragon qi?" Lai That calmly explained, "The so-called dragon qi, to put it bluntly, is a type of emotion." In Tichkan's mind, he automatically visualized what he said. Think about it. When you're angry and fighting, aren't you much stronger? When you're fighting for survival, don't you feel exceptionally powerful? As he spoke, he demonstrated with a blue and a red flame in each hand, explaining, Our Tang Long school calls this technique of stimulating emotions qi movement, and the technique of controlling emotions is called qi stillness. Tichkan looked at his own hands and hypothesized, if I can combine movement and stillness, it would be incredibly advantageous. He was extremely excited and clenched his fists, wanting Lai that to teach him. So how do I practice it? Seeing him gradually grasp the concept, he stroked his beard in satisfaction and said, You've likely understood its essence. Lai, that gave a hint to the confused Tichkan. Don't ask first. Think for yourself. You already know its essence. He was incredibly smart and realized, you mean a state of mind without distractions, right? Tichkan closed his eyes and calmed himself. In his spiritual world, he was unconsciously drawn into a place full of mathematical formulas. It seems I remember everything I learned and saw in my past life. This math problem, I couldn't solve it during my college entrance exam. I definitely haven't studied it again, so why does it seem so easy now? And all this knowledge, after solving it, he confidently told Lai that I've become smarter. This is just a small part of it. Only then did Tichkan gently confide, I have ordinary things can no longer stir my emotions. My imagination has also become stronger. In his mind, he pictured the dragon and said, I can quickly imagine the form of a giant dragon. Even a single strand of its mane or a single golden scale is very clear. Suddenly, Tichkan realized, could this be the essence of visualization? Lai, that agreed with his thought and gave advice to Than Q, who was munching on bread, to help him. Just talking isn't enough. You need to practice to feel it. Than Q, go spar with him. She shyly finished her piece of bread. As she walked step by step, amidst Lai, that's praise, and Tichkan's assessment, Than Q's control of force is the best among the disciples. Even her father can't compare. With a figure like that, is it possible? While looking at her and preparing to defend, Tichkan thought, I wonder who is stronger between her and sixth senior sister. Over here, Than Q was already in a ready stance, waiting for him. Tichkan didn't hesitate and shot forward like an arrow. Fourth, senior sister, my apologies. Unexpectedly, he was sent flying by Than Q. Seeing this scene, Lai, that was extremely pleased. Your intention is too obvious. Tichkan quickly took a defensive stance and calculated, she's even stronger than my golden finger? On the other side, Than Q casually dusted off her hands. Now his eyes gradually became serious as he muttered her name, fourth senior sister. Tichkan rushed forward before Than Q could prepare, thinking, again, this time, I will think of every possible way to win. The two sides continuously exchange blows without holding back. Whether it's despicable or cruel, in the so-called martial way, the one standing is the winner, the one on the ground is the loser. In a moment of carelessness, he was sent flying by one of her kicks. The impact from the kick was so powerful it sent dust flying everywhere. Tichkan's eyes were resolute as he pushed himself up, wiping the blood from his lip. Continue. The more they fought, the more intense it got, starting from morning until dawn appeared. Both still had plenty of energy, launching technique after technique at each other. The result was a barrage of strikes landing on Than Q. This shocked her and pushed her back in immense pain. In contrast, he looked at his fist innocently. The feeling in my hand just now was as if Lai, that's hand, had caught Than Q. After seeing the result, he quickly announced, that's enough for today. Her face was extremely annoyed, arms crossed and cheeks puffed. Than Q must be hungry. Continuing to fight won't be effective. Than Q, go rest first. When Than Q left, Tichkan and Lai that were chatting about her. Speaking of which, Master, why doesn't fourth senior sister talk? Than Q went through some things when she was little. He sighed, his eyes full of pity as he mentioned her. This child's story can't be told in a moment. I'll tell you in detail when I have the chance. Yes. Lai, that turned his head and asked for Tichkan's feelings. Tell me, how did you feel today? Was the training effective? He answered very honestly amidst a continuous stream of notifications. Physical fitness level 5, 827 halves, 000. Tired, 468 over 800. Running level 5, 699 over 2,000. I've never been this tired in my life, but I've also never been this happy. A system mission appeared as Tichkan was thinking about Than Q. Charisma level 4, 66 over 1, 200. Aiming level 3, 567 over 800. Fourth senior sister is really strong. Just over 4 hours of training and my experience has increased this much. Hand-to-hand combat level 3, 520 over 800. Chi circulation level 4, 217 over 1,200. Visualization level 1, 251 over 300. Looks like I'll have to stay close to her from now on. He walked leisurely down the cold, empty street. As he strolled down that deserted street, letting the cool breeze wash over his exhausted muscles, Tichkan couldn't help but marvel at the sheer absurdity of his visualization and chi circulation gains. Back on Earth, his original world, the concept of manifesting dragon chi wasn't just some flashy anime trope. It was the ultimate, almost mythical endgame of ancient martial arts. Historically, we're talking about real texts like the Yijin Jing or the Muscle, Tendon Change Classic. Originally attributed to Bodhidharma, the monk who famously stared at a cave wall for 9 straight years, this actual historical manual detailed the grueling process of transforming a fragile human body into something practically indestructible. Real-life monks and Taoist masters would spend decades meditating in freezing mountains, desperately trying to achieve the exact visualization state Tik Kan just unlocked in a few hours. They called it kunxiang, the ancient Taoist art of holding a mental image so vividly that it fundamentally alters your internal physiology. But here's where the verified history bleeds into legendary folklore. According to ancient Eastern myths, if a grandmaster pushed this intense visualization to its absolute peak, they would tap into the Earth's longmai, or dragon veins. The legends say that whoever successfully merged their internal chi with these terrestrial veins wouldn't just become a strong fighter, they would undergo a spiritual metamorphosis, echoing the legendary tale of the golden carp leaping over the dragon gate. The lore claims their human meridians would literally crystallize into dragon tendons, and their raw aura would project the phantom of a celestial golden dragon exactly like the one Tichkan just mentally fused with inside his mindscape. It was believed that reaching this divine state meant you had completely transcended mortality, possessing the untamed power to command the heavens and shatter mountains with a single palm strike. Of course, for those ancient Earth masters, chasing that mythical dragon took a lifetime of ascetic suffering, brutal isolation, and zero guarantees of success. But for our boy, he just needed a hardcore sparring session with a hot senior sister and a glowing system panel to practically speedrun an entire mythological ascension. Shaking off the heavy thoughts of legendary grandmasters and ancient lore, his stomach suddenly reminded him of his current priority, and he finally reached the door of his apartment. As soon as he entered the door, Tichkan shouted, "Honi, I bought you fried chicken!" After calling for a while with no reply, Tichkan became vigilant and looked around. Honi, it's so late. Where have you been for so long? Walking towards a room with sounds coming from it, his heart grew suspicious as he slowly approached. Someone's in the bathroom. Tichkan looked at the shoes at the entrance and wondered, Honi didn't bring any guests home. There's only one pair of shoes at the door, so that means Honi is inside? Could she be locked in the bathroom? He muttered to himself, then froze as he imagined. Honi once told me she has enemies. Could it be? Panicked, he yelled and threw the door open. Honi! Honi stared blankly at Tichkan looking at her. It turns out she was taking a bath. She suddenly screamed and splashed water at him. Don't look! In contrast to Honi's embarrassment, Tichkan worriedly approached and took her hand. If you dawdle any longer, the fried chicken will get cold. Hearing she was getting food, her eyes lit up as if she'd found gold. Fried chicken! Afterwards, Tichkan sat in the bathtub with the shy and embarrassed Honi. While he was lathering her head, Honi could only think about food, a little dizzy, causing the system to pop up a notification. Fried chicken washing me. Someone has developed a favorable impression of you. Charisma experience plus 89. Suddenly, the ring on Honi's tail emitted a brilliant, glowing light. She unconsciously touched Tichkan's chest muscles. The sparkling light was so bright it annoyed him, so blinding. After slowly opening his eyes, Tichkan was a bit stunned. A beautiful hand was touching his chest muscles. Tichkan called her name, looking at her a bit unnaturally. Honi, you. The scene was so dazzling that he blurted out a comment that left Honi stunned. How did you turn into a person? Realizing she was being stared at, she used her tail to cover his eyes and said shyly, Don't look. Being blinded made Tichkan flustered as he explained, Honi, Calm down a bit, I can't see anything. Honi's face was as red as a tomato as she asked, honestly, really? To avoid making the situation more awkward, he calmly advised, I'm not lying to you. No matter what, you should get up first, then we'll figure it out. Suddenly, something made Honi let out a soft moan. Hearing the moan made him unconsciously worry about her as she was fumbling. What's wrong? No, nothing. She pouted and blamed Tichkan, who could only gently soothe her. Why did you suddenly change back at a time like this? It was probably an accidental activation of the Divine Relic's transformation condition. Hearing this, Honi froze. Transformation condition? She slowly shifted her gaze down to Tichkan's chest. So, that means, just now... Then, she couldn't help but look down at his abs. Dazed, she remembered the situation just now. I really did develop a little for him. The more she thought about it, the more flustered she became, not knowing what to do as she looked at her body. Just a little feeling, plus fried chicken, and then I turn into a human? What kind of ridiculous activation can do? And these cat ears, these fangs, this tail damn gods, the relics they left behind are all so weird. After a moment of composing herself, Honi stammered, Listen, don't get any funny ideas. This was just an accident. At this moment, she felt something indescribable, and her eyes widened. Looking down into the bathtub, she became even more flustered and couldn't speak. You dare. Now, Tichkan was also scared and trembling as he explained, This isn't something I can control. However, if you don't get off, that won't be the only thing I can't control. Why didn't you say so earlier? Honi warily looked at Tichkan, who had his eyes closed, and threatened, Then I'll move my tail. You close your eyes yourself. Don't open them. For some reason, she slipped and fell with a soft moan. The scene at this moment would make anyone who saw it blush and their heart race. Witnessing the whole thing, he was stunned and stammered, Honi, you... In this awkward situation, Honi could only give a sheepish laugh and make an excuse. I didn't do it on purpose. She accidentally glanced down, her expression a bit indifferent. But didn't you again? Honi unconsciously let out a moan. Now, hearing her voice and feeling the movement of both their bodies, he was finding it extremely difficult to hold back. Honi, can you be a little gentler? If you move around on me so violently, it's going to be very uncomfortable for me. Hearing Tichkan's complaint, Honi felt wronged and could only cry while Tichkan tried to calm down. I didn't do it on purpose. I know. While I can still hold back, you should get out quickly. After hearing his declaration, she froze on the spot. Otherwise, you might not be able to get out later. She could only run for her life out of the bathroom. She slammed the door shut loudly. Tichkan could only let out a helpless sigh. Then he calmly walked over to Honi and asked, An hour later, why did you change back? When she returned to her original form, she was a bit wary of Tichkan. I don't know. After I calmed down earlier, I turned back into a cat. Now I can't turn back into a human. It's so confusing. She felt his hand about to touch her. She didn't hesitate to jump away defensively. Stay back. Tichkan's arm stopped in midair. He sighed in frustration and thought to himself, right, after what happened earlier, it's normal for her not to want me to touch her. Tichkan looked at her seriously and spoke to her in different form. Honi, I recently met someone who is quite knowledgeable about divine relics. Tomorrow, I'll go find her and ask about the specifics. Maybe she can help you turn back into a human. Whatever. In Honi's mind now, she only thought, if I can turn back again. She imagined herself sitting on top of a frightened Tichkan, who was begging her. Your Highness, the cult leader. I was wrong. Seeing Honi starting to have indecent fantasies, Tichkan felt a headache coming on inside. An uneasy night passed as the first rays of dawn crept into the room. The system's voice sounded as Tichkan was still half asleep. Early to bed, early to rise. Health preservation experience plus 38. Health preservation leveled up to level 3, 3/800. Gradually waking up, he couldn't help but smile as he looked at Honi curled up next to him. Tichkan habitually picked up his phone to check notifications. The screen displayed a message from Outin, There's a job, come quickly. He was extremely excited and clenched his fist. Finally, something to do. A while later at the Thon library, Tichkan had arrived. He looked around blankly and wondered, Where's Outin? She told me to come quickly, but she's nowhere to be found. In front of him, at the large table, there was only one girl sitting there. Besides the girl with glasses, there's no one else here. But suddenly, Tichkan realized something was off. He looked again carefully. Wait. Seeing him looking at her, the girl smiled and waved back. Tichkan thought to himself, that girl with glasses, isn't that Nguyen? Only then did she gently take off her glasses. Atin smiled and said, your consciousness is really strong. Hearing this, Tichkan's face went blank for a moment, his gaze shifting downwards. His eyes landed right on her chest. You found me this quickly. Next was her pretty face and plump lips. Feeling his gaze, Otin coughed, blushing with embarrassment. Tichkan quickly turned away, pretending not to see. Without wasting any more time, she got straight to the point. This is a divine relic, God 1280. These glasses look ordinary, but they can reduce a person's presence, making them less noticeable. Take these glasses, he asked in surprise. Is that all? A notification appeared. Divine substance detected. Absorbing divinity, 6%. Otin explained, of course not. Once the glasses are removed, the suppressed presence will burst out in an instant. The longer you wear them, the more dazzling and eye-catching the burst of presence will be when you take them off. Hearing this, Tichkan's face darkened and he sighed. So it wasn't that I suddenly became a pervert, it was just the effect of the glasses. Suddenly remembering something, he turned to ask, right, didn't you say you had a job? She cut him off. Look at this first. Saying that, she handed him a stack of documents. This mission is very special, a sea-level recovery mission. It shouldn't have been given to you. But this divine relic, God 115, the crown of the evil woman's honor, can continuously enhance the wearer's primal desires. The current wearer is a girl named Lao Tu Owen. Once she sees an attractive man, she can't control her desire to possess him. Tichkan put on the glasses and asked, so these glasses are specifically for me? Atin replied matter-of-factly, of course, your foundation is already very good. Just wear these glasses beforehand, and the moment you take them off, Lao Tu Owen's desires will definitely explode completely. Her words carried a hidden meaning. At that time, you'll be able to easily remove the crown of the evil woman's honor, restoring her to her original state. For this recovery mission, no one is more suitable than you. Understanding her intention, he could only give a helpless laugh. So, in the end, you want me to use my looks to lure her. The system notified, absorbing divinity, 41%. Tichkan calculated. But honestly, this job suits me quite well. Not only can I drain the divinity of 2 divine relics at once, but I can also grow much stronger. Suddenly, a wicked smile appeared on his face. Besides, these glasses suit me very well. I'll wait until I've worn them for about 10.5 years before taking them off. A vision of a brilliant halo constantly appeared in his head. From now on, won't I be standing above the heavens? Witnessing this scene, Aotin called out in confusion, Tichkan. Only then did he snap back to reality, clearing his throat and replying, by the way, are these glasses your personal item? She explained, of course not. I borrowed them from another recovery company. Tichkan asked in surprise, there are other recovery companies? Aotin exclaimed in surprise, oh, I didn't tell you? He continued, our company feels quite mysterious and high-end. I thought this was the only branch in the whole country. She smiled and replied, you misunderstood. The Divine Relic Recovery Company is a bit special, but if you really want to describe it, Aotin's next words shocked Tichkan so much, his jaw dropped. Actually, in essence, we're no different from street sweepers. He cut her off. You compare us to street sweepers? That sounds pretty miserable. But Aotin didn't feel she was exaggerating at all. In this world, there are already several thousand known divine relics alone. The people who obtain these relics are also very diverse and numerous. They can appear anywhere at any time. A single recovery company simply can't handle it all. Moreover, this job is very dangerous. Not everyone can take it on. Tichkan asked curiously, do we have a cooperative relationship with other recovery companies? Aotin replied, not exactly. In essence, the recovery work is outsourced to us by the government. Her eyes became serious as she added, there are some companies that are willing to do anything to make money. If you meet people from other companies, you should be careful. Hearing this, he nodded in agreement. Got it. At this point, he took off the glasses he was wearing and said, right, I want to test the effect a bit. Aotin asked curiously, what effect? As soon as the glasses were removed, a bright aura seemed to envelop Tichkan. The system announced, a bright aura seemed to envelop Tichkan. Notification. Absorbing divinity, 63%. The sight immediately made her freeze, her heart pounding uncontrollably. A notification appeared. Someone has developed feelings for you. Charisma value plus 19. Tichkan praised with satisfaction. Looks like the effect is very good. A while later on the main road, only a few cars were moving. Sitting on the bus, Tishkan was engrossed in reading the file Autin gave him. Inside was information on a person. Name, Lao Tu Oan. Age, 4 years. Faction, Tuong V Gang. Area of operation, Nam Thon, bars, karaoke lounges, male nightclubs. He thought to himself, Lao Tu Oan, main operating area in Nam Thon bars, dance halls, male nightclubs. In his mind, he began to picture this woman's appearance. Her scope of activity is exactly that of a female gangster boss. The file stated that Lao Tuon had used the enhanced physical abilities from the Crown of the Evil Woman's Honor to establish her own sphere of influence and form a small gang called the Tuong Vai Gang. Furthermore, every day she drained the vital energy of countless men in the area. At the same time, the Crown of the Evil Woman's Honor also continuously enhanced her desires. Just thinking about it made Tichkan's hair stand on end. The stronger her desires, the greater her enhanced physical abilities. If no one stops her, the Crown of the Evil Woman's Honor will continuously accumulate power. Just removing the Crown of the Evil Woman's Honor can restore her to her original state, so I have to find a way to take advantage of that. As he was calculating, the bus reached his stop. The bus announced, "We have arrived at the Nam Thon area. Passengers, please exit through the rear door at this stop," along with a system notification, acquiring divinity, 79%. In the Nam Thon district, a young man was being brutally beaten with a wooden stick. The woman seemed to be enjoying it, trembling with excitement as she exclaimed, "The feeling of doing whatever I want is just too amazing." She threw her arms open and laughed loudly. "I'll do whatever I want. Who dares to control me? I'll beat whoever tries." Not far away, Tichkan witnessed the whole thing and was speechless. This old hag is so childish. Looking more closely, he noticed a shiny crown on her head. It's her. A middle-aged man approached her, bowing and scraping, and said softly, "Sister Lao, please take your time." Tu Owen smiled sweetly and cut him off. "Who said I want to go? Where are your 2 sons? Why haven't I seen them today?" He forced a smile and replied, "Sister, which one do you want? I'll go call him right now." The moment he finished speaking, her face twisted into an expression of extreme thirst, and she growled, "Which one? Of course, I want them both." After confirming that it was indeed Lao Tu Owen, Tichkan sighed in disgust. "You want me to seduce this old hag? You might as well just kill me now." Suddenly, a group of men appeared out of nowhere, looking very aggressive. Their underlings shouted with gusto. This time, with Brother Doan taking action, that old hag Lao Tu Owen is dead for sure. Hearing this, Tichkan exclaimed, "An enemy coming for revenge? I'll hide first and see what happens." The big guy in the lead stepped forward and roared, "Lao Tu Oan, I hear you've been pretty arrogant lately, huh?" He was the leader of the Dao Gang, Dong Kai Bin. Hearing these words, Tu Oan couldn't care less and asked, "Who are you?" She was the leader of the Tuong Vai Gang, Lao Tu Oan. Not far away, her underlings were beaten black and blue, their faces swollen as they tattled, "Sister Lao, he's Dong Kai Bin from the Dao Gang. He's the one who beat us up like this." Tu Oan exclaimed, "Dong Kai Bin?" Looking closely, "You have a pretty good figure." She licked her lips thirstily and asked, "Want to play with your big sister?" Seeing her perverted expression, Kai Bin gritted his teeth and trembled. This old hag. He couldn't take it anymore and lunged forward with powerful punches. "Give me back my territory!" However, Tuan was no slouch either, easily dodging all his attacks. "You old hag! If you've got the guts, don't dodge!" Overhearing their conversation, Tichkan understood some of what was going on here. So this place was originally the territory of the Dao Gang, and later it was taken by Lao Tu Owen's Tuong V Gang. That's why the 2 sides are enemies. Isn't this just gangs fighting each other? Back to the fight. Since he couldn't hit Tu Owen, Kai Bin ordered his men, "Hey, hey, hey! All you know how to do is dodge, charge." The other side also yelled, "Tuong V Gang, let's charge too!" A tattooed guy rushed forward and smashed a brick over the head of a nearby young man. Witnessing this, Tu Owen's jaw dropped. "Little Bao!" The uncle behind her cried out in fear, "My son!" Seeing her prize get hit right in front of her, she went crazy and cursed. "You trash from the Dao gang! Don't you dare ruin my fun!" Kai Bin smirked and continued, "You rotten old hag, you're finally getting serious." He rushed forward at high speed and delivered a powerful blow. "Then I'll show you my true skills." That scene even surprised Tich Kan, his eyes widening. Taking the powerful blow, Tu-on couldn't react in time and was sent flying backward. But she was still unharmed, her smile becoming even more crazed. "Interesting. Let your big sister play a few rounds with you." This was so dramatic that Tich Kan couldn't take his eyes off it. As soon as she finished speaking, Tu-on pushed off the ground and launched herself forward. On the other side, Kai Bin also vanished from his spot. Both sides fought fiercely, with dust and smoke obscuring the view. Tich Kan observed further and thought, "This thug, Dong Kai Bin, is no simpleton. He uses his hands as blades, his palms like sharp knives, cutting through iron as if it were mud." But Lao Tuan only had a slight scratch. In terms of martial skill, Dong Kai Bin was stronger than Lao Tuan, but Lao Tuan was incredibly durable, making his attacks ineffective. After a long back and forth, Kai Bin finally got hit. He sighed wearily. How long is this going to take? Just then, the system announced, "Divinity absorption complete. 100%. Action speed now activated." Tich Kan smiled with satisfaction. Finally finished absorbing. The system gave him some options. You can now choose body strength, body defense, reaction speed, calculation ability, concentration ability, memory. Without hesitation, Tich Kan selected body strength. "I chose speed last time, so this time I'll combine it with strength." He wondered in anticipation, "I wonder how powerful it will be after the upgrade." The moment he finished speaking, a green light flashed in his eyes. Then, Tich Kan threw a rock forward with great force. And the unlucky recipient of this blow was Kai Bin. A single hit shattered his leg bone. The effect is indeed significant. Witnessing this scene, Tu-on looked around blankly and asked, "Who?" She yelled, "Come out!" Kai Bin trembled all over, unable to stand, and cursed, "You bitch! Playing sneak attack games, are you?" His underlings quickly helped him up and left. "Let's go. You rotten old hag, just you wait. We'll be back." Watching their retreating figures, Tu-on spat out a mouthful of blood. "Screw you, that hurt like hell." As soon as she finished speaking, Tich Kan's figure finally appeared, walking towards her. She asked, startled, "Kid, was that you just now?" He coldly put his hands in his pockets and replied, "It was me." Tu-on was suspicious and wary. "Are you carrying a gun?" Tich Kan gently pulled down his zipper and replied, "You could say that, but I won't use it on you. Lao Tu-on's fighting style has no structure." It's obvious she's never had professional training. The more he spoke, the more confused she became, her expression one of utter bewilderment. Before she could understand anything, Tich Kan was already in a ready stance. In that case, I'll try to defeat her head-on without relying on my looks. If that doesn't work, I can always take off my glasses mid-fight to control her. After a moment of composing herself, Tu-on laughed contemptuously. "Deal with me? With just that? If it were in bed, maybe?" He ignored her and took a deep breath. Tu-on's expression quickly changed. A massive amount of chi swirled around Tich Kan, forming the illusion of a giant dragon. She wondered, this teenager, could he actually be very strong? Tu-on was no longer as arrogant as before and asked fearfully, "Who are you?" Hearing that, he tilted his head up and thought, "Who am I?" Finally, Tich Kan made up a different name for himself. "You can call me Owen Hao." Then, a powerful golden light flashed in Tich Kan's pupils. The system announced, "Twin, activate state." As soon as the state was activated, he immediately shot forward at a dizzying speed. Then he delivered a powerful kick to Tu-on's body, a painful blow that made her cough up blood. Taking an unexpected hit, she couldn't react in time and was sent flying backward, slamming hard into a wall. When Tu-on opened her eyes again, the reflection in her pupils was another punch flying towards her. Tich Kan attacked without holding back, his power overwhelming. He unleashed a series of consecutive punches, so fast they were a blur. Lying underneath, she could only endure helplessly, her teeth clenched tight. Finally, with one last finishing blow, the entire wall crumbled into pieces. Tu-on was buried under the rubble. Only now did Tich Kan get a moment to rest. Looking at his red and swollen arm, he lamented, She's really tough. Witnessing the entire scene, two Owen's underlings were too scared to move. Is this a movie? Even the wall was smashed? Don't tell me Sister Lao was smashed too? Who is that guy? Even Donkai Bin was beaten by Sister Lao, but he can beat Sister Lao down like that? As the whispers and discussions ended, a hand emerged from the rubble. Tu Owen, somehow, was not defeated. Holding a wooden stick, she gritted her teeth in anger and roared, "Kid!" On her head, the divine relic crown flashed with a sinister purple light. It gave her a surge of power 10 times greater than before. Her eyes glowed blood red. "You've really pissed me off now." Hearing these words, Tichkan remained perfectly calm, without a trace of fear, and smiled to himself. This is a real fight. Awesome. Without wasting any more time, Tu Owen charged forward like a crazed beast. "I'll grind you into mincemeat." Seeing her wooden stick coming down, he casually leaned to the side and dodged. Then, with lightning speed, Tichkan bent his leg to gather momentum. By the time Tu Owen realized it, it was too late. She took a full knee to the face and cried out in pain. Her whole body flew backward, blood spraying from her nose. But she flashed a strange, satisfied smile. It turns out, while Tichkan wasn't paying attention, Tu Owen had seized the opportunity to grab his arm. "You're not getting away this time." Before she could act on her intentions, his other arm shot forward. In the next moment, a murderous glint appeared in Tichkan's eyes. He flicked his finger with such force that it made her eyes bulge in pain. Tu Owen stumbled back, dropping her stick and clutching her face, screaming in agony, "My eye! My eye!" Watching her tremble, Tichkan thought with satisfaction, Master once said, "It doesn't matter if you're despicable or cruel. As long as you win, you can use any means necessary. Only the one left standing at the end has the right to speak." Before Tuan could figure out what was happening, she took another kick to a sensitive spot. It's not just a weak point for men, it's a weak point for women too. Seeing that she could no longer fight back, he slowly approached. This time, Tichkan clasped his hands together and raised them high. Then he brought them down with a fatal blow, knocking the crown clean off. Tu Owen completely lost consciousness, lying motionless in a large crater. Her crown fell to the ground, rolling a few times. Standing behind them, the underlings were trembling like leaves, their mouths agape. Tichkan didn't pay them any mind, bending down to pick up the relic. The system announced, "God 1105, Crown of the Evil Woman. Divine substance detected. Extracting divinity." After completing the mission, he took a photo to report back. On his phone was a chat with Ingu Autin, with the photo attached and the message, "Got it." Tichkan stood there in deep thought. Don't let her suffocate. As for the punishment she deserves for all the evil she's done while wearing the crown of the evil woman's honor, thinking this, he used his foot to flip Tuan over. "I'll just leave it to the residents she's been terrorizing all this time to handle." The system announced, "Absorbing Divinity 33 over 100. Absorbing Divinity 39 over 100. Twin Absorbing Divinity 42 over 100. He asked himself in surprise, "It seems the absorption speed has increased." Tichkan discovered something else new. "What's this down here?" While he was distracted, a man approached and called out, "Hey, kid!" Hearing the voice, he jumped and turned around. The white-haired guy ordered, "Give me the thing you're holding. You're not qualified to touch that." The absorption process was still ongoing, absorbing Divinity 73 over 100. Tichkan clenched the crown and asked, "At such a critical moment, I can't let this guy interrupt. What if I say no?" The white-haired guy's expression immediately changed, radiating a murderous aura as he replied, "Kid, you're looking to die." Through his vision, clear warnings appeared. Predicted physical level 1.7 to 1.9. Physical mutation rate below 1%. Traces of martial arts training. No obvious specialized parts. Unable to calculate combat pattern. Composite danger level assessment 2.1 to 2.5. He looks to be only about 16 to 17 years old, living in the suburbs. Yet he's still rated over 2A. Thinking this, he sneered contemptuously, but still too weak. Seeing that Tichkan was not a threat to him, the white-haired man quickly approached. "Kid, I'll give you one last chance." But before he could get close, our boy had already kicked him in his weak spot. Yet the white-haired man was completely unfazed and laughed, asking, "You despicable martial artist, using such dirty, low-down tricks every day, how could I not be prepared?" Hearing this, Titch-Khan was at a loss for words and started to run. Who normally guards against that move? Are you a pervert? The man chased after him, shouting, "Stop for me! I have to kill you!" As he ran, he thought, is this guy an employee of another recovery company? His body is so strange, as hard as if it were made of mechanical parts. Before he could figure it out, the sturdy wall was smashed by the white-haired man. A corner of his mouth lifted into an excited smile as he reached out. Just as he was about to grab Titch-Khan, our boy managed to back away and dodge. Taking the opportunity while the white-haired man hadn't reacted, he continued to run. Every second that passed made Titch-Khan more anxious. This man is as deep as the sea. I can't get tangled up with him for too long. The system showed absorbing divinity, 81/100. While focused on the screen, Titch-Khan suddenly had a bad feeling. By instinct, he quickly raised his hand to block an unexpected attack from the white-haired man. But because the force of the blow was too strong, he was still sent flying through several layers of stone walls. Titch-Khan gritted his teeth, enduring the pain and thinking, it seems no matter how I run, he'll catch me. Just when it seemed all was lost, the tables were finally turned. Divinity absorption complete. Shadow flame not activated. Divine skill. Divinity needed for activation. 539/500. Conditions met. Activate? Yes or no? Without a moment's hesitation, he slammed the yes button. At this moment, not far away, the white-haired man was still slowly approaching, threatening. Hand over the item. I'll only break one of your arms and legs and spare your miserable life. But before he could finish his sentence, a hand shot out and clamped tightly over his mouth. His eyes revealed sheer terror, trembling with every beat. Reward, recipient. From deep within the rubble, Titch-Khan's voice emerged. Are you talking about me? The moment he finished speaking, the white-haired man quickly jumped back, escaping his tight grip and shouting, if not you, then who? He glanced around, observing the sinister black energy swirling around Titch-Khan and thought, this black flame. Not only that, the power he radiated was also incredibly oppressive. This aura, in an instant, the entire pile of rubble was incinerated by Titch-Khan, leaving not even a speck behind. The white-haired man exclaimed in horror, I actually went up against a reward recipient. The system then announced, Shadow Flame Level 1. Divinity needed for upgrade, 39/10. Effect, transform shadows into tangible flames. Divinity, incarnation, not unlocked. Unlock condition, Divinity, 39/2000, reach level 10. Hearing what the white-haired man said earlier, Titch-Khan looked at himself in surprise and thought, he saw the black flame and immediately connected me with a reward recipient. What's the connection between us? What's a reward recipient? While he was still confused, the man was sneakily trying to leave, but he was spotted. No, I can't let him escape. At that thought, the black energy began to move, shooting forward rapidly. The direction they were heading was towards the white-haired man. He panicked, waving his hands and shouting, Don't come over here, get away! Witnessing this scene, even Titch-Khan couldn't believe it and wondered, what's going on? I just thought about it, and the shadow flame immediately shot over there. Is this some kind of automatic attack system, like a homing missile? While the white-haired man was fleeing, the shadow flame was also getting closer. Damn it! In that moment, his eyes flew open, his pupils contracting. The shadow flame, as if it could hear its master's command, shot straight into his nose. And then a truly horrifying scene unfolded, making Titch-Khan exclaim, Whoa! Right then, the white-haired man's body began to contort, his eyes rolling back. Every bone in his body creaked and cracked. Just looking at it made him freeze up, unable to form words. After a moment, the white-haired man lay still, not moving at all. System notification. You have just experienced a battle where the weak defeated the strong. Combat experience plus 452. You have just experienced a battle where the weak defeated the strong. Combat experience plus 633. You have just experienced a battle where the weak defeated the strong. Combat experience plus 422. You have just experienced a battle where the weak defeated the strong. Combat experience plus 558. Physical training leveled up to level 6, 28 thirds, 000. Health preservation leveled up to level 4, 25/1, 200. Aiming leveled up to level 4, 102/1000, 200. Combat leveled up to level 4, 8/1000, 200. Chi circulation leveled up to level 5, 127 halves, 000. Finally, only 2 words appeared on the system screen. Shadow Flame. After dealing with this dangerous guy, Titch-Khan approached to observe his naked body. He was utterly amazed and thought, "This guy is so extravagant, his entire body is artificial skin. Moreover, the durability of this skin is very high. It was burned for so long and only left a single mark." Thinking this, he turned and picked up a nearby rock. If I hadn't destroyed him from the inside, it would have been very difficult to kill him. In comparison, the rock looks hard, but it was burned to this state in no time. The damage caused by the black flame must depend on the durability of the target object. Also, the rock's surface shows no signs of carbonization and is still cold to the touch. The sturdy rock vaporized in Titch-Khan's palm, not leaving even a speck of dust behind. It seems this black fire doesn't have the same properties as real fire. As soon as he finished speaking, the early morning sun shone down from the sky, causing the black flame to gradually weaken. He looked up and remembered what the system said. The panel says this black flame is converted from shadows. Now that there are fewer shadows, the black flame is also weaker. Perhaps the larger the area of shadows around, the more and stronger the shadow flame that can be converted. Before Titch-Khan could feel that power for a moment longer, it all dissipated. "Hey," he sighed, exasperated. "So it's all used up? Not even a warning? And I don't know how the cooldown is calculated." But there was nothing he could do. He took out his phone to take a picture of the white-haired man's body and sighed. "Well, I'll put this aside for now. I'll leave this guy here first and explain the situation to Ngu Ao Tin." Scene change to the Namthon district. Inside some laboratory, a bizarre creature was slowly growing. Standing nearby was a man, observing it carefully. He gently reached out to caress the horrifying creature and asked, "Bin Bin, do you know why I called you here?" Bin Bin, covered in injuries and bandages, knelt on the ground and replied, "I know. You clearly told me repeatedly not to cause trouble recently. And yet I..." Before he could finish his sentence, the man vanished from his spot. As Kaibin stared blankly, not understanding what happened, a large hand clamped down on his head. The man had appeared there out of nowhere, his eyes filled with rage. "You clearly knew, so why did you still do it?" He gritted his teeth and asked, "Are you tired of living? You don't want to live anymore?" Witnessing this scene, Kai Bin's face turned pale with fear. He quickly kowtowed repeatedly, begging, "Master, your disciple was wrong. Please forgive me." With no other choice, the man finally had to accept it. "Fine, get up." After speaking, the man walked over to the creature and asked, "Any news on the 2 I sent out before?" Kai Bin replied, "It seems they were destroyed." The man's face darkened. "Was it all Bakna's doing?" He explained, "No, I heard one of them was seriously injured by a teenager." The moment he heard that word, the man lost his composure. A teenager, Kai Bin, drenched in sweat, bowed his head and continued, I heard that the teenager's name is Titch-Khan. His background is nothing special, just an ordinary person." The moment he finished speaking, the man roared, "How can an ordinary person defeat them?" Frightened, he kowtowed and continued, Yes, you are right." The more he thought about it, the more resentful he became. Although these test subjects are not perfect, they are not to be humiliated by a mere mortal. As he spoke, he looked at the squirming creature and ordered, "Go, capture him. Then I will personally feed him to the great Thien Tuk Chung Mao. That way, she will be able to give birth to more, better quality children. One day, I will conquer this planet." Tin Thon Library. Titch-Khan stood in the elevator with his eyes closed, thinking, causing such a big mess during a mission, I wonder how Ngu Ao Tin will handle this. Our boy was racking his brain, trying to figure out how to explain the mess of a mission he just survived. In the end, he just said, screw it. What's done is done. Worst case scenario, he'd just have to work off his debt. The elevator quickly reached the 7th floor, and the doors slid open. But contrary to everything Tiet-Khan expected, Ao Tin wasn't pissed at all. In fact, she bowed her head and took the blame. "I am so sorry. I never imagined such an unforeseen situation would occur, leaving you to face that danger alone. It was a serious error on my part." Hearing that, our guy just froze for a solid second, his eyes wide. She continued, "I'll upgrade this mission's ranking to C+ and offer you additional compensation. I hope you'll accept." Of course he wasn't going to refuse. Tiet Khan accepted instantly. No problem. He was still reeling, though. Her reaction was the complete opposite of what he'd braced himself for. Otin let out a sigh of relief. Thank you. As they walked over to the main desk, she got down to business. The man you dealt with. His identity has been confirmed. She explained, his name is Chu Ung Khan, a C-rank containment agent from the 2 Containment Company. I've already contacted them. They claim this was his own personal operation, completely unrelated to their company. Tiet Khan slumped into a chair. A personal operation? Yeah, right. He tapped his fingers on the desk. Skeptical. He was a dude. What would he even want with the evil woman's crown for? Before he could finish, Ao Tin handed him a document. You should take a look at this. She pointed to several marked locations on the map. This is what worries me. The 2 Company is based in the inner circle. It makes no sense for them to send an agent this far out for a simple outer circle mission. Their story holds up on the surface. Otin took back the file, warning him, there's likely more going on behind the scenes here. Let me handle this part. For now, don't get too deeply involved. Tiet Khan just nodded. Got it. Our boy pulled out the crown and took off the glasses, handing them to her. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to give you this. And the glasses, I should return them to you now. But Ao Tin just waved her hand, refusing to take them. You keep the glasses. You might need them for the next mission. Besides that, she continued, Chu Ung Khan's autopsy report had some strange points. All of his internal organs vanished without a trace. How exactly did you do that? Tiet Khan instantly remembered the Shadow Flame ability. Man, this power was way too dangerous, and he barely understood how it worked himself. Better to keep it on the down low for now. To change the subject, he pressed a button on the glasses and put on his most innocent face. Can I keep it a secret, sis? The second she saw that look, all of Ao Tin's suspicion melted away, and her heart started pounding. She quickly covered her face. Fine, don't tell me. Everyone has their secrets. Just put the glasses on first, he obliged. Oh, okay. Inside, he was thinking, damn, these glasses are an actual cheat code. Just as he was about to head out, Tiet Khan remembered one more thing. Oh, right. He pulled out the black card she'd given him. This thing you gave me, what is it? Ao Tin smiled. That's your official containment certificate. With that, carrying out containment missions in the future will be much more convenient. Our boy's face lit up. So, does this mean I'm an official employee now? She snapped her fingers. Of course. Besides the perks that come with being part of an official organization, all the archives in this library are now completely open to you. Ao Tin stood up, ready to leave. I don't have much time. I've got more work to handle. Feel free to look around. Tiet Khan waved her off. Take care. The moment she was gone, his eyes lit up with excitement. Awesome! Maybe now I can finally find some clues about the cattail ring. A little while later, deep inside the library, he started taking it all in. Staring at the rows upon rows of artifacts, Tiet Khan couldn't help but be amazed. This place is a whole other world. Inside the glass cases were divine relics, each with its own unique data. Tiet Khan casually picked up a case. Got 018, Goddess of Death. Unreasonable Affection, a divine relic I've never even heard of. He quickly swiped his new card on the case. A notification popped up, insufficient authority, access denied. He couldn't believe it. He tried another case. Okay, what about God 069, Cinderella? The serial number is way higher, so this one should be accessible, right? But he got the same damn message. Insufficient authority. Access denied. Refusing to give up, Tiet Khan frantically searched through the archives. Got 227, access denied. Got 580, access denied. Got 666, access denied. After struggling for what felt like ages, he was completely exhausted. This is ridiculous. Didn't she say everything was open to me? Why do I still need clearance for everything? Does this mean even the cattail ring requires special authority? Whatever, I'll find it first and worry about that later. After even more searching, Tiet Khan finally found what he was looking for. GOT 1391, the cattail ring. He took the case out, but before opening it, he clasped his hands together and prayed. Please work. The moment he swiped the card, a new notification appeared. Got 1391, cattail ring. File unlocked. Tiet Khan was so happy he could cry. Success! The item's information appeared. The danger level of this divine relic was B rank, which was way above his pay grade as a C-rank containment agent. Only the first 2 layers of the file were unlocked, but he was already completely baffled. Wait a minute, isn't this thing supposed to just turn people into a harmless kitten? How is it ranked on the same level as a relic that can destroy an entire city block? Unable to wait any longer, Tiet Khan dove into the research. The file on the cattail ring gave him some new intel. After wearing it for a month, the owner can freely transform between human and cat form. Okay, that's actually pretty convenient. The document continued. Until a certain year, a scholar who saw the cattail ring immediately began screaming in a feverish craze and founded the heretic god cult. Reading this, our boy paused, completely confused. The heretic god cult? To get more info, Tiet Khan started digging again. There's got to be a file on this cult, too. Images started to appear. After the death of the gods, massive cracks appeared on the Earth's surface, and from these cracks, great boundary zones emerged. As they explored deeper into these rifts, they discovered tools that could communicate with the heretic gods. Groups of people, hungry for power, gathered to beg for strength from these heretic gods. They became known as the heretic god cults. Those who received gifts from the gods were called the gifted. Finally, Tiet Khan understood the term. So that's what the gifted means. His hands flew, flipping through the pages at lightning speed. 200 years ago, a sect of the heretic cult called the Lion Saint cult desperately tried to establish contact with the god Bastet, but the deity never responded. And then a man placed the ring on his finger. It wasn't until a follower acquired Got 1391 and transformed into a cat that they finally received the goddess's blessing. However, the one who received the blessing wasn't the follower, but Got 1391 itself, the cattail ring. From that moment on, the ring possessed an even more mysterious power. As the fusion process deepens, the wearer will begin to possess the power of Bastet until they become Bastet herself. The deeper Tiet Khan dug, the more he realized a brutal truth. So, the Lion Saint cult is willing to do whatever it takes to kill the current owner of the cattail ring and take it back, which means his face darkened, his hands trembling. They're going to kill Hoa-Ni. Tiet Khan recalled his past conversation with Hoa-Ni about getting stronger. It all makes sense now. That's why she was so insistent on me going to the dojo. If I can't get OP in a short amount of time, we're both going to end up cooked. While lost in his chaotic thoughts, he suddenly noticed something else. The second document was exactly what Tiet Khan needed. GOT 1391, Cattail Ring Fusion Conditions. He read every line carefully. The first fusion requires a strong emotional stimulus. Subsequent fusions require the wearer to continuously evoke the same emotion to advance the fusion progress. He tried to remember. A strong emotional stimulus? Finally, Tiet Khan remembered that day in the bathroom. I remember at that time, he was picturing the scene where Hoa-Ni grew human ears and ultimately transformed into a cute girl with a wagging tail. Just thinking about it made Tiet Khan shake his head in embarrassment. Can't think about it anymore. The images from this visualization ability are way too vivid. But the realization hit him like a lightning bolt. If it really has to be like last time to trigger the transformation, that means Hoa-Ni and I will have to regularly... The more he thought about it, the more helpless Tiet Khan felt. How am I supposed to explain this condition to Hoa-Ni? Suddenly, a few lines at the top of the page caught his eye. GOT 1391, Cattail Ring Side Effects. None. This divine relic only grants power and divine authority to the wearer. There are absolutely no side effects. The only thing to worry about is the Lion Saint cult. He let out a sigh of relief. That scared the hell out of me. No side effects is great news. But then a thought struck him. Is that it? What kind of power does Bastet even have? How do you take the ring off after putting it on? Are all the key questions locked behind a higher clearance level? Man, being a C-rank agent sucks. Before he could finish his thought, his phone buzzed with a notification. When he opened his phone, Tiet Khan saw a massive deposit. Tinthan Bank. Hello, Mr. Tiet Khan. Your savings card ending in 3,166 has received a transfer of 231,511.31 yuan. Current balance, 235,212.25 yuan. He was stunned. Did my salary come in that fast? No, wait, this has to be the compensation from Enjo Outin, but this much? Tiet Khan's mind immediately went to all the delicious food he could buy, his mouth watering. From now on, I won't have to budget every single meal. That means more time to train. I'm about to get seriously strong. Without a second's hesitation, he puffed out his chest and headed for the exit. Tonight, I'm buying some expensive ingredients and making a feast for Hoanyi. I'll find the right time to tell her about the transformation condition later. 5 days later, at Tiet Kanja's place, the table was overflowing with a mountain of gourmet food. Hoanyi couldn't help but dive in, munching away happily. She gnawed on a chicken leg and asked curiously, "Speaking of which, why are we being so extravagant lately? Did you strike it rich or something?" Tiet Kan, who was about to take a bite, paused. "You could say I times was times rich for a little while." He explained, "These past few days, I've been learning a new technique from my master called the Dujia Gong. The technique itself isn't anything special, but the training process was incredibly demanding. But during the training, you have to drink special medicine, and after you train, you have to take a medicinal bath. Completing one set of the training costs 40,000 yuan. Tiet Kan tiredly crushed a lobster claw in his hand. "I've done a total of 5 sets these past few days. I can't believe I've already burned through 200,000. Hoanyi cut him off, confused. "Wait, shouldn't you still have over 30,000 left? Why are you acting like you're broke?" Tiet Kan immediately pointed to the feast spread across the table. She got the message and didn't ask any more questions. "While your devotion to this venerable cult leader is commendable, I must warn you, you need to be more frugal with your money." She slowly approached him. "Besides the medicine you mentioned, you'll also need to buy weapons and hidden weapons in the future. Not to mention, formal attire for high-class events is essential. A single suit can easily cost over 100,000 yuan. Tiet Kan's face went pale. "That expensive?" Hoanyi patted the lobster beside her. "This kind of luxury meal once a month is more than enough." Tiet Kan nodded reluctantly. "Yeah." But he couldn't stop thinking about his now empty wallet. "I can't believe there are so many things I need to spend money on. It's a long way till payday, and Ngo Outin probably won't have another job for me for a while. If I don't find a way to earn some extra cash, I'm going to be eating dirt." With no other choice, Tiet Kan opened up his messaging app. He sent a text to Tran Fu Kwang. "Senior brother, I'm a little tight on cash right now. Do you know of any places that are hiring? I can do bodyguard work, manual labor, anything." Fu Kwang replied instantly, "You asked the right person. Meet me at the Tang Long Dojo tomorrow afternoon. I'll check on how much progress you've made." While he was busy texting, Tiet Kan suddenly heard the sound of frantic chewing from the table. By the time he looked up, Hoanyi had devoured everything. He slammed the table. "Hey, you were supposed to save some for me." Time flew by, and soon it was the next morning on the streets. At the Tang Long Dojo, Tiet Kan was training as usual, his eyes closed in concentration. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, blazing with power. In the next instant, he unleashed a palm strike straight ahead. A system notification popped up. "New skill unlocked. Soft Force, Level 1. Standing off to the side, Fu Kwang watched everything, thinking to himself, "This junior disciple is no joke. It's only been 5 days, and he's already mastered the Dujia Gong to this level." Just then, a girl ran up to Tiet Kan, asking shyly, Junior brother, we're doing a strength test over here. Could you maybe demonstrate a few moves for everyone?" Before he could answer, Fu Kwang quickly jumped in. "Go on," Tiet Kan hesitated, "but I—" His senior's face darkened as he whispered, "This is a good opportunity to test the effectiveness of your training and open everyone's eyes a bit." With no other choice, Tiet Kan had to agree and stepped forward. He clasped his hands in front of him. "All right then, I'll give it a shot." But hearing this, the other students in the dojo started sneering. "The new junior brother probably hasn't mastered his strength yet. Don't force it. Yeah, don't hurt your hand and then blame us." These clowns were Van Chu Vin, with a punch force of 200, 1.3 kilograms, and Dich Ung Nok, 212.2 kilograms. Unable to stand it, the blonde girl snapped. "Stop talking nonsense! My junior brother is really amazing!" This was Nin Mon Mon, punch force 232 kilograms. Wasting no more time, Tiet Kan began his demonstration, punching the force measurement bag. After a moment, when nothing seemed to happen, the crowd laughed even harder. "Junior brother, why didn't you build up your power? The sound was so soft. Guess he didn't use his full strength? He's probably just half-assing it to save face." But before they could finish their sentences, the stitches on the bag all snapped, and the cotton padding exploded outwards. The display on the machine flashed a perfect score, 9,999. The same people who were just mocking him were now completely speechless. Junior brother, this is... Tiet Kan kept a calm smile on his face. Soft force? He explained, power isn't just about being stronger. The move I just used is called soft force, an upgraded form of vigor. First, you concentrate your power into a single point, transmit it into the target's body, and then detonate it from the inside. Maybe you all can try to grasp it. After hearing his explanation, Manman's admiration grew even stronger, her eyes sparkling. Thank you for the lesson, junior brother. Tiet Kan turned to Ung Nok. Hey, junior disciple, could you grab a punching pad from the storeroom and put it on the machine? He quickly replied, yes. Fu Kuang walked over. Junior disciple, with this level of skill, I have no more worries. There's a big shot looking for a bodyguard right now. The job is a bit complicated, but are you up for it? Without hesitation, Tiet Kan took the paper with the job details and looked it over. On it was a photo of a massive hotel with the details. Address: Thui Chow Hotel, Room 617, 60, 1 Kim High Street, Dong Thon District. Compensation: 800,000 yuan. That number burned into his vision, practically glowing. Tiet Kan wasn't thinking about anything else. He grabbed his senior's shoulder and agreed instantly. This job is mine. It has to be. In front of the Thui Cha Hotel, a luxury car rolled to a stop. Tiet Kan stepped out of the car, dressed in a sharp, formal suit. The moment he walked into the lobby, all eyes were on him, and people started whispering, "Who is that? Look at his suit. He looks like a martial artist. Probably the son of some family attending the banquet. He must be here for security. A martial arts master, but so young." Seeing that everyone was buzzing about him in a good way, Tiet Kan smiled to himself. Just like my senior sister said, people really do judge a book by its cover. He remembered the conversation before he left. Sun An had stopped him, asking, You're planning to wear times that? He'd replied, "What's wrong with these clothes? They're comfortable." She was speechless. People judge by appearances. If you dress too cheaply, they'll look down on you. Without another word, Sun An pulled out a dazzling red suit, grinning. But don't worry, your senior sister already prepared something for you. This suit is from a famous designer. Tiet Kan took one look at the outfit and recoiled. But this is way too flashy. I'm not going on a blind date. Just then, a finger gently tapped his shoulder. Than Q had appeared out of nowhere, holding a black suit with a subtle bamboo leaf pattern. Seeing this, Sun An pouted. "You sly senior sister! I was here first!" In the end, Tiet Kan chose her outfit. When it comes to fashion sense, senior sister Mon is still a cut above. Around where he was standing, a group of young women were gushing. "He's so handsome! Should we go ask for his number?" Two men following behind them looked annoyed. Is Times supposed to be a top disciple from the Tanglong Dojo? No way. I've met all 6 of the Tanglong Dojo's direct disciples, even the youngest one. I don't know who that kid is. The guy in the red hat smirked. You're saying they can't take on new disciples? The man in the white suit looked away. I'm not saying that. Long Vuong Lai. That said, long ago he would only take 7 disciples, but the 7th must be a prodigy with incredible talent and foundation. Exactly. He'd rather have none than a subpar one. He sneered. This kid looks like a pretty boy. How strong can he be? He's definitely not a top disciple of Lai. That? The man in the red hat clapped him on the shoulder. Don't judge a book by its cover. He observed Tiet Kan's every move. Look at him. His steps are incredibly stable, each one the exact same distance, not a millimeter off. Even his upper body doesn't sway. It's clear his body control is insane, and his vigor technique is already well honed. But the guy in the white suit still wasn't buying it. So what? Even if he can generate 10 times the effect with a fraction of the power, he'd still lose against 100 people, wouldn't he? Seeing how stubborn he was, the other guy didn't bother arguing anymore and just walked away. I'm done talking to you. At the reception desk, an employee asked, "Excuse me, are you the martial arts master in charge of security?" Tiet Kan smiled and introduced himself. Tanglong Dojo? Tiet Kan. It's a pleasure. Without hesitation, the employee laid out a floor plan. A pleasure to meet you. First, let me brief you on the job. This time, we've hired 6 masters, each responsible for a specific area. Mr. Tiet Kan, you're in charge of the stage area. The lighting there isn't great, so please be extra vigilant. Our boy took the plan, satisfied. You can rest easy. Besides, with so many martial artists here, I doubt anyone would dare cause trouble. The employee gave a worried, forced smile. Well, you can never be too sure. It's always better to have more people just in case. I won't keep you any longer. I have to get back to work. Watching the man hurry away, Tiet Kan could tell something was off. Hiring extra security is one thing, but calling in 6 full-fledged martial arts masters, that's a big deal. His eyes scanned the nearby crowd. And it's not just that. They've also hired a ton of bodyguards. Judging by their gear, they're all pros. And all this surveillance equipment, the number of cameras far exceeds what a normal hotel would have. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The more Tiet Kan thought about it, the more confused he became. What in the world is happening here that warrants this level of overkill? Just as he was thinking this, the guy in the white suit swaggered over. So you're the new direct disciple the Tanglong Dojo just took in? Hearing this, our boy turned his head in surprise. And you are? He pointed a thumb at himself. Ho Fach Dojo, Li Chu Ton. Don't worry, I'm not here to cause trouble. But as colleagues, it's not too much to get a little feel for each other's skill level beforehand, right? Tiet Kan never backed down from a challenge. Sure, how do you want to do this? Chutoan rolled up one sleeve. Desho. Tiet Kan nodded. All right. Desho was a common way for martial artists to size each other up. From the way this clown approached him, Tiet Kan could already tell what his intentions were. This guy probably sees how young I am and doesn't believe in my strength. Fine by me. This is a good chance to see how strong I really am. Not far away, Hyo Kwang was also there and spotted the confrontation, completely surprised. Brother Khan? What's he doing here? A girl walked up to him. Second young master boy. You know that handsome young man? Who do you think will win? He stammered. Well, Before he could answer, another man with purple hair stepped forward. I'll put my money on the young man, the others exclaimed. Young Master Bui! Big brother! The girl smiled. But Li Chiaton is super strong. Last time second young Master Bui tried to show with him, he was screaming in pain. Hyo Kwang blushed with embarrassment. Don't bring up my most painful memories. Back at the contest, an onlooker noticed something. The handsome guy isn't making any moves. Is he about to lose? The purple-haired man just smirked. It's not that he's not moving, it's just that an ordinary person can't see it. That young man's body may look lean, but it's been forged 1,000 times over. It's as hard as steel. His aura is pure and clear, something a tryhard like Li Chiton can't even compare to. He then glanced at Hyo Kwang. Hyo Kwang, after this contest is over, introduce me to this young hero. He replied, Yes, sir. Seeing how powerful Tiet Kan was, he couldn't help but be amazed. It hasn't been that long. How did Brother Kan get this strong? It's impossible. Cho Tone, however, was completely oblivious to the impending doom. He smirked to himself. This kid doesn't have a single drop of aura on him. He's just a scrub. Kid, you should just pack your bags and go home. Through his senses, Tiet Kan judged, this guy's physical strength is pretty decent. He must have been training hard for a long time. Thinking this, a hidden smile played on his lips. However, he was completely confident he could dominate this clown. Compared to me, he's still lacking. Very quickly, Chiuton felt a surge of pain and wondered in shock, what's going on? Tiet Kan's grip was gradually tightening, as if it was about to crush his hand. How did his strength suddenly get so intense? Sweat poured from his palm as his hand trembled uncontrollably. This is bad. I'm not going to be able to hold on. But Chiuton refused to admit defeat and tried to power through it. In that instant, all the bones in his wrist and fingers were completely shattered. Hearing the sickening crack, Tiet Kan flinched and pulled back. Oh, crap! He let go of the man's hand. That sound just now, was that your bones breaking? You okay? Chiuton tried to act tough, laughing loudly. Of course I'm fine. But kid, you're really not bad. A true top disciple of the Tanglong Dojo. I'm impressed. Before Tiet Kan could say another word, he turned to leave. I'm in a bit of a rush. Gotta hit the restroom. Let's grab tea sometime, brother. He practically sprinted towards the emergency exit. Once he was sure no one was around, Chiuton clutched his swollen arm, tears and snot streaming down his face. It hurts so damn much! He collapsed to the floor, shaking and cursing. Damn it, that kid is a monster. Standing outside, Tiet Kan was still clueless, thinking to himself, is he really okay? That was definitely the sound of bones breaking, right? Just then, Hugh Kwang walked up and called out, "Brother Can!" Startled, our boy turned to look behind him. He was smiling warmly and waving. "Brother Can! Long time no see!" Tiet Can exclaimed. "Bui Hugh Kwang!" A while later, in the stage area, Tiet Can finally learned why Hugh Kwang was there. "So you really are a young master. I thought you were just bluffing." Hugh Kwang scratched his head in embarrassment. "You're joking, Brother Can. I'm actually the son of my father and his mistress. If it weren't for my older brother looking out for me, I wouldn't be living so comfortably." Not wanting to waste any more time, our boy got straight to the point. "So, what did you need to see me about?" He replied, "Well, your match with Li Chutone was amazing. My older brother wants to get to know you. He's a genius too. He passed the martial arts exam for the Inner Ring University." On the stage above, the purple-haired man was standing there, raising a glass in greeting. It was him. The girls who saw Tiet Khan also started waving at him. Hugh Kwang continued, "And there are a few young ladies and rich madams who want to meet you too. So, do you have some free time?" Our boy sighed. "Definitely not today. I have a job to do. Besides, if they just want to get to know me, that's fine." As he spoke, he gently patted Hugh Kwang's shoulder. "But if they really want to be friends with me, then tell them to come find me themselves. If you want something, you have to go get it yourself, not wait for someone to bring it to your door." With that, Tiet Khan coolly turned and walked away. "I've work to do. I'm heading out." He left Hugh Kwang standing there, eyes sparkling with admiration. Brother Tiet is so cool. But before he could take more than a few steps, the girls swarmed him, all saying in unison, "The handsome young man is right. If you want something, you have to get it yourself." A blonde girl bravely held out her phone. "Hey, handsome, can I get your number?" The others all chimed in, "I want to add you two. Me too." While they were all fighting for his contact info, Tiet Can noticed someone acting suspiciously. "Add me, you won't regret it," he thought. "The manager never told me anyone would be bringing equipment in." Without a second thought, he tried to step forward and stop the guy, but the blonde girl grabbed him tightly. "Hey, add me." She pouted, "I'll tell you lots of things." With no other choice, Tiet Can gave in. "You're killing me? What's your number? That's more like it. I want in too." Meanwhile, the strange man in the hat had made his way inside and pressed a button on a control panel. Instantly, a device was activated. Tiet Can felt a surge of electricity. "Is my phone leaking electricity?" He snapped his head around, startled. "No, that's not it." The moment he thought that, everything plunged into complete darkness. He couldn't see a thing. The guests started to panic. "The power's out!" "Hold on, let me turn on my phone's flashlight. What's going on?" "My phone won't turn on either." The atmosphere grew tense. "This is weird. Why won't any of our phones light up? Are they all dead?" "No way." Tiet Khan confirmed, "I'm positive my phone was fully charged." He analyzed the situation. In this pitch-black environment, with dozens of people here, not a single person has pulled out a working phone for light. It's clear that everyone's phones are dead. Combined with all the lights going out, it seems like all electrical devices have failed. An EMP, a high-tech measure that can instantly destroy electronic devices. But why would the enemy use something like this? If they just wanted to assassinate one person, isn't this massive overkill? While Tiet Can was lost in thought, a loud crash echoed through the room as all the windows shattered simultaneously. The blonde girl from before screamed and huddled against him. Something's definitely wrong. The banquet hall was so dark that no one could see what was happening. What was that sound? A glass breaking? Don't scare yourself. Maybe it was just the wind. Or someone knocked something over? Does anyone's phone still have a battery? Mine's completely useless. Wait, where's old Wang? He was standing right next to me a second ago. Luckily, Hugh Kwang still had a lighter, creating the only small flame in the room. His older brother surveyed the scene and clapped his hands to get everyone's attention. The situation here is not good. Everyone, don't move around. Get back to back and group up. Everyone followed his instructions. Come on, everyone do what young Master Bui says. But before they could calm down, a terrifying scream echoed from nearby. There's something over there! In the moment they were distracted, a man standing at the back of the group was dragged away, his body covered in blood. What happened? I don't see Mr. Truong anymore. In the flickering firelight, they spotted a trail of blood on the floor. Blood! It's blood! Without a word, everyone turned and fled in a panic. Witnessing the chaos, young Master Bui shouted, "It's dangerous! Everyone, stop running!" Before he could finish his sentence, A lightning-fast slash whipped through the air. A deep gash appeared on his cheek, and blood started to flow. Without stopping, the creature lunged forward again at incredible speed. Terrified, young Master Bui clenched his fist and threw a punch. The blow connected, sending the creature flying backwards. I hit it! He thought it would retreat, but it immediately turned around and came back. Luckily, in the most critical moment, Hugh Kwang managed to push his brother out of the way, shouting, "Big brother!" The unfortunate man standing behind them took the hit instead, his upper body sliced clean off. Young Master Bui's face went pale, unable to believe what was happening. For the first time, they got a clear look at the creature. It was a giant insectoid monster. He screamed in terror, "Run!" But the monster closed the distance in an instant. An ordinary person couldn't possibly react in time. It's too late, damn it. Just then, a familiar figure stepped forward, swinging a leg back. Without a moment's hesitation, Tiet Kan unleashed a powerful kick that sent the monster flying, slamming it into the wall. He looked at the creature and wondered, what the hell is that thing? After taking a direct hit from Tiet Kan, the monster was helpless. It crashed into the wall so hard it left a huge dent, and a stream of green blood poured from its mouth. Seeing this, our boy immediately remembered. It's this thing again. Looks like all my recent training paid off. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to send it flying so easily. Standing behind him, the other survivors couldn't help but be in awe. Incredible! He sent that monster flying into the wall with just one kick. Where are the other martial arts masters? Damn it, they all ran away. Hyo Kwang ran forward, overjoyed. Brother Kan! Thank you for saving me and my brother! Before he could finish, Tiet Kan held up a hand to stop him. Don't come over here. That thing isn't dead yet. Just as he predicted, the monster recovered, its eyes glowing red as it charged like a kamikaze. Tiet Kan quickly dodged to the side. Its life force is even stronger than last time. Has it evolved? Let's test it out. If I can't beat it, I'll have to retreat. Tiet Kan raised his arm. It's not worth risking my life for a little bit of money. With that thought, he used the Thon Kin technique, striking the back of the monster's neck before it could react. Once again, he sent it flying. A murderous glint appeared in Tiet Kan's eyes. Seizing the opportunity, he lunged forward. You beast! You're not the only one who can move freely in the dark. After landing the kick, the scene before him suddenly became crystal clear. A notification appeared. Shadow Flame. Dark Vision. Thanks to this skill, the darkness was no longer a problem for him, so this skill actually has a night vision effect. The skill description was so vague, if I'd known, I would have used it from the start. The two of them exchanged blows in a blur, leaping from one spot to another. Watching the fight, Chio Tuan couldn't believe his eyes. Tiet Kan can actually fight on par with that monster. Young Master Bui cut him off. No, he continued, on the surface, it looks like he's just barely dodging, but if you look closely, you'll see he hasn't retreated a single step from the very beginning. He clenched his fist. He's protecting us. Without another thought, Chiaton pointed towards the emergency exit. Let's go. Staying here will only distract Tiet Kan. We can also call the police and get help. Seeing that everyone had evacuated safely, Tiet Kan felt a sense of relief. Finally, I can go all out. He beckoned to the monster with his finger, taunting it. Looks like you were having a lot of fun earlier. Now, it's my turn to play. Enraged, it flapped its wings and hovered in the air. Then, before Tiet Kan could figure out what was happening, it zipped past him. When he looked down, he saw a gash on his chest, bleeding profusely. This damn beast actually had a trump card. It's way faster now. Having achieved its goal, the monster stopped and turned 180 degrees. It wore a demonic grin of anticipation. In the next second, Tiet Kan felt his body being pulled down by an immense force, unable to move. He was shocked. What's happening? A flashback? Am I dead? Killed by a pathetic roachman like this? No way. I spent so much money on my training. How can I lose to something like this? Something must be wrong here. As his body slowly sank, it bumped into a large hand with sharp claws. Startled, Tiet Kan's eyes snapped open and he looked up. Standing there was a golden dragon, its aura overwhelming. This dragon, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. At the same time, back in the real world, seeing Tiet Kan unresponsive, the monster seized the opportunity and charged. But before it could land a blow, its eyes rolled back in its head. From the center of Tiet Kan's chest, a massive golden energy burst outwards. And then, his eyes finally snapped open, awake. He felt lighter than ever. Swinging his arm back, he asked softly, "An eye for an eye, right? Seems fair to me." Tang Long's secret killing move. Not stopping there, Tiet Khan landed another blow on the monster's head. Fong Van Vai. The battle was finally over. The monster's head was crushed into tiny pieces. Its body still stood, swaying, before it was about to collapse. Even Tiet Khan was surprised by the move he just pulled off. "I think I just unlocked something seriously powerful." The words had barely left his mouth when he heard a noise from below. It turned out the monster was slowly regenerating its head. It's still not dead? Right, even though it's mutated, at its core, this thing is still a roach. Tiet Khan's face darkened. Even without a head, they can live for another 8 or 9 days. Not letting that happen, this time he destroyed its lower body too. I think the real weakness of a roach is the nerve ganglion below the esophagus. He ripped out its guts. This is it. Is a normal roach's nerve ganglion this big? The other survivors, hiding under a table, heard the silence and crawled out, Is it over? It's dead!" They shouted with joy, "That guy killed the monster!" "Which dojo is he a disciple of?" "I want to donate 1,000,000. I'll donate 2,000,000. Second young master boy, hurry up and introduce us to him." The man in the red hat smiled. "Old lie, I'm truly impressed. You actually dared to provoke someone like him." Chuton was sweating bullets. "Don't mock me." He remembered their earlier confrontation. "When that young man fought me earlier, he probably wasn't even using 1% of his real strength. I'm lucky he showed mercy and didn't finish me off." Tiet Khan urged everyone, "People, we need to get out of here now. I have a feeling this isn't over yet." Hugh Kwang said worriedly, "Brother Khan, you're injured." A man approached him from out of nowhere. "My friend, what do you mean?" Tiet Khan replied, "And you are?" He introduced himself. "I'm the host of this party, Diep Thualam. Are you saying this incident wasn't an accident?" Our boy took the business card. "From my observations, this wasn't a normal power outage. It was an EMP phenomenon, most likely man-made. That monster was probably intentionally released here as well. The goal was most likely to wipe out everyone in this room." Hearing this, Thualam quickly averted his gaze and shouted, "This must be an organized, planned assassination attempt targeting us. I will have my father investigate this thoroughly." Tiet Khan thought to himself suspiciously, "You installed so many cameras and hired that many martial artists. You clearly knew something was going to happen, but held the party here anyway. Aren't you the one who's suspicious? Everyone who could attend this party is no ordinary person. Why would someone want to kill them? And this Diep Thualam, he's definitely hiding something." He looked at the crowd. "Even though that monster is dead, the danger hasn't passed. We should leave this place as quickly as possible." With no other choice, everyone quickly began to evacuate. "Slow down! Don't push! Anyone with a lighter, please use it to light the way." After they had all left, Thualam sidled up to him. "By the way, my friend, do you know what that monster was?" Tiet Khan replied, "I'm a bodyguard. My only job is to ensure everyone's safety. I don't know anything else." His face darkened as he stared at the man. "He's starting to probe me now. It seems the situation here is even deeper than I thought." Outside the hotel lobby, everything was in chaos. "Quick, call your families. Tell them to come pick us up. I want to go home. I never want to come to this hotel again." Sitting on a nearby bench, Tiet Khan thought, the haul from this wasn't bad. A system notification popped up, "You have survived a fierce life and death battle. Your body's potential has been stimulated. Body training EXP plus 1072. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and tasted victory. Your mood is greatly improved. Life cultivation EXP plus 829. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and gained new insights into movement. Running EXP plus 538. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and your murderous aura is now more attractive to others. Art EXP plus 551. You have survived a fierce life and death battle. Your precision has increased. Aiming EXP plus 518. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and gained great insight into combat. Combat EXP plus 1539. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and successfully learned a new killing move. Vigor Control EXP plus 1347. Specialization condition met. You have survived a fierce life and death battle and visualized a true dragon sweeping through a sea of clouds. Contemplation UXP plus 1, 211. Not only that, but all of Tiatkan's stats had increased significantly. Body training to level 7 135 over 4,500, life cultivation to level 5 298 over 2,000, running to level 6 359 over 3,000, combat to level 6 324 over 3,000, contemplation to level 4 748 over 1,200. He thought happily, a huge EXP boost, and I even met a specialization condition. The wound on his chest began to slowly heal, and the bleeding stopped. After a moment, it was completely healed, as if nothing had ever happened. My wound is completely gone. Tiatkan felt refreshed, stood up, and stretched. What is this? Is this a status recovery after leveling up? The system notified him, condition met. Basic vigor can be converted to special vigor. Specialize? He didn't answer right away, instead thinking it over. The condition must be the Fong Van Vi move I just learned. This special vigor must be related to the Tang Long Lu martial arts. With that thought, he hit accept. Why not? Special vigor has to be better than basic vigor. The upgrade was completed instantly. Specialization successful. Vigor level 6,2080 over 3,000, total EXP 6,880, converted to Tang Long vigor level 41,880 over 4,000. This feeling, Tiatkan could feel a real change in his body, like a rusty part being lubricated. The power flowed through his body more smoothly than ever before. Wasting no time, he quickly sat down. This is a rare opportunity. Ignoring the people running around him, he sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. While the iron is hot, let's practice the Du Jiao Gong one more time. Outside the entrance, the medical team had arrived. Where are the injured? Young Master Bui pointed inside 17th floor banquet hall, and also, before he could finish his sentence, the scene before him made him freeze. Surrounding Tiatkan's body, the phantom of a giant golden dragon had appeared, enveloping him. Time passed, and that evening, at the dojo, inside a room, a worried Sunan was applying medicine to Tiatkan's wounds. He said politely, "Thank you, senior sister, for applying the medicine for me personally." She cut him off. Why did this happen? It was supposed to be a simple security job, but then that monster showed up. Junior brother, you have the worst luck. Lie, that also came over. Dojo commissions are inherently dangerous. Wanting them is one thing, but avoiding them is difficult. Hearing this, our boy asked, "Master, you're knowledgeable. Do you know the origin of that monster?" He answered seriously, "I'm not entirely sure about the specifics. I only know that thing is very likely related to the boundary zone." Tiatkan thought to himself, the boundary zone, is that the self-forming rift mentioned in the documents that appeared after the gods died? What's actually inside that rift? Seeing his tense expression, Lai that laughed and waved his hand. "Don't overthink it. You're lucky to be alive. Besides, you turned a disaster into a blessing, grasping the Fong Van Vi killing move of my Tang Long Lu. For a martial artist, a life-and-death battle is truly the best teacher." Tiatkan spoke up, "Master, it's not just that. I think I've grasped the essence of Tang Long Lu." The words had barely left his mouth when his master shot up from his wheelchair and rushed over. To investigate, Lai that gently touched Tiatkan's arm to probe him. Before our boy could understand what was happening, a force sent his master stumbling backwards. Lai that asked in disbelief, "Tiu Khan, you've raised a dragon?" Tiatkan scratched his head, confused. "What kind of riddle are you talking about?" Ignoring the question, his master threw his head back and laughed. "The hidden dragon rises through the clouds. You've nurtured a dragon within your body, my junior disciple. You've raised a dragon." Tiatkan helped his master up. "Master, after this dragon appeared, I just feel like my vigor flows much more smoothly. Are there any other effects?" Lai that explained, "This dragon is not some ethereal concept. It's a sentient dragon vigor, with a spirit of its own. In this way, practicing martial arts is no longer just practicing martial arts. It's about nurturing the dragon within your body. This is the true essence of my Tang Long Lu." He glanced over. "Tukan, you have obtained the key to breaking the limit." Our boy's eyes widened. "The key to breaking the limit?" Even Sun An didn't understand. "Master, what does breaking the limit mean?" Lai that explained seriously. "The human body has its limits. When skin, flesh, tendons, bones, and blood have all been trained to perfection, you can't progress any further. At that point, you need to break the limit, which is to sublimate your life level. Rebuilding the body is the most fundamental part. Although your appearance is still human, the essence of your life is no longer human. He slapped his thigh. Those who complete this life-level sublimation, the Taoists call them worldly immortals, the Buddhists call them living Buddhas. As long as you don't have any accidents, you can live to be at least 150 years old and maintain your peak physical condition until death. Tiet Khan thought worriedly, Master's legs, it seems that was his accident. Lai, that reassured him, Khan, don't worry, you've already taken the most important step. He patted his shoulder. The risk of failure has been reduced to its lowest point. The rest is just a matter of hard work and training. Tiet Khan replied, I understand. Thank you, Master. Sitting beside them, Sunan asked, But Master, I heard from Senior Brother that you were once a powerhouse who had passed the Dragon Gate, so why did you end up like this? His face was filled with resentment, his hands trembling, because the dragon I raised was killed. This statement made both of them freeze in disbelief. Lie, that didn't hide anything. Back then, I lived in the North City district. I thought my martial prowess was unparalleled, and I acted with too much arrogance, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. Every day, Man, Bak, Thuong, and I would challenge people to duels, and we made a lot of enemies. Those enemies couldn't beat me, so they went after Man Bak Thuong's wife and child. At that time, I was blinded by rage, bent on revenge. It was a brutal fight. Countless people tried to stop me, but I wasn't afraid. I killed every single person who stood in my way. For a moment, I had the illusion of being invincible, but it wasn't long before my karma came for me. And on that fateful day, I was defeated by a powerful expert who cut off my legs and killed the true dragon within me. My spirit was broken, and I became a half-cripple. At that time, many people kicked me while I was down. Only Man Bak Thuong was willing to stay by my side. Thinking back, he could only sigh. After that, to escape our enemies and protect Thon Jiao, we left the North City district and came here to found the Tang Long Dojo. Tiet Khan asked bluntly, Master, don't you want revenge? Lie, that replied, If you're asking if I think about revenge, then of course I do. But my enemies are all major figures in the North City district, not the small fries you find here. Each one is hard to deal with, let alone all of them. In short, you don't need to worry about these things. It's all in the past. If one day you can rightfully enter the inner circle, it won't be too late to bring this up again. As the moon hung high over the neighborhood where Tiet Khan lived, he had just returned after a long, tiring day of work when his phone buzzed with a notification. Tin Than Bank. Dear Mr. Tiet Khan, your bank card ending in 3,166 has received a transfer of 800,000 yuan. Current balance, 880,011.03 yuan. He was surprised. The money already came through? That hotel works pretty efficiently. As soon as he got home, Tiet Khan kicked off his shoes. Ho Ni, I'm back. But the house was dark, and she was nowhere to be seen. Ho Ni? Not home again? She's probably not taking a bath this time, right? With no other choice, he decided to use his contemplation ability. Thanks to this skill, Tiet Khan could see Ho Ni running and jumping around the house happily. Looks like she's having fun. Then she climbed onto the windowsill. She wants to go out? Tiet Khan rushed to the window and looked out. Not far away, he spotted several figures standing in the shadows. And among them was Ho Ni, being attacked by two strangers. Tiet Khan's heart sank. Not good. Ho Ni is in danger. Sitting on a broken wall, Ho Ni raised her sharp claws. Didn't you guys already run away? Why are you back? The masked man standing below replied, Because the mouth of the infinite dragon has answered us. The infinite dragon king, Ananda Sasa. Hearing this, she couldn't believe it, her eyes widening in shock. He stepped forward. Cult leader, your aptitude is excellent. You can definitely become one of the gifted. At that time, we can borrow the power of the main cult to rebuild. But before he could finish his sentence, a hand shot out, blocking his path. Didn't you hear her? She's not interested. Seeing that it was Tiet Khan, Ho Ni was startled. Khan, what are you doing here? He replied. I was about to ask you the same thing. Based on your conversation, are these guys your cult members? The man looked at Ho Ni with displeasure. Cult leader, aren't you afraid the Kang Duke Company will find out about this boy's existence? Of course, she was worried about that. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she thought, the Kang Duke Company. Tiat Khan's face darkened as he stepped forward. I can't just pretend I didn't hear that. Seeing his reaction, the man quickly waved his hands and explained, What I mean is, if the cult leader continues to stay at this boy's house and the Kongdu company finds out, he will definitely be implicated. Now, Hoani stammered, but seeing her hesitate, a sense of unease grew in Tiat Khan's heart. Does Hoani really want to go? But that Kongdu security company is no joke. After the death of the gods, the world fell into a brief period of chaos. The state was unable to manage everything, so they outsourced some law enforcement powers to private security companies, allowing them to organize and develop their own armed forces. The Kongdu Security Company was one of them. Unlike other companies, it grew rapidly and quickly became a behemoth with deep roots. Now, they were out of control. Because of this, Tiat Khan was even more worried for Hoani's safety. Nin Fu Han, hiding here as a cat, was discreet enough. But now that the dragon cult people have found her, the risk of her being exposed is much higher. But even if the Kongdu Security Company does come for us, I'm not afraid. After thinking it over, he made his decision. She's not going back. Those words immediately moved her. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at him. A can. The other man stomped his foot. Kid, do you really think you can protect the cult leader? Tiat Khan replied seriously, It hasn't happened yet. How will we know if we don't try? The man pointed a finger straight in his face. You have no idea how powerful the Hongdu Security Company is. A guy like you, they could send a single squad and... Before he could finish, Hoani shouted, Enough! If you guys hadn't shown up, none of this would be happening. I never wanted to be the leader of some dragon cult. It was that damn old man who decided on his own to make me his successor, and now he wants me to receive some gift. If you want it so bad, go get it yourselves. Stop bothering me. The girl standing behind him flinched at the shouting, looking around in confusion. Hoani blushed and added, Besides, no matter what happens, a Khan will protect me, right? Tiat Khan smiled and nodded gently. Yeah. Wasting no more time outside, the two of them headed back home. They left the other two standing there, completely at a loss. Meanwhile, elsewhere, in a room filled with mutated creatures, a voice echoed, Number 1 was killed by a 17-year-old high school student. The old white-haired man was surprised. Even Thuahayan at 17 would have had a hard time beating Number 1. Is there really a genius in Tinthan stronger than Thuahayan? Standing behind him, Kai Bin smiled. That's different. Junior brother had only been practicing martial arts for a short time when he was 17. This person was likely secretly trained by the Tanglong Dojo for a long time before making a shocking debut. Before he could finish, the old man tossed him a phone. Forget it, it doesn't matter. Although it didn't achieve the desired effect, at least a few people died. Consider it a warning bell for the executive council. When the call connected, the old man's face darkened. What's the situation with Number 9? Kai Bin replied, It ate Number 7 last night. It's only been 10 days since its creation. Its growth rate is too fast. The old man nodded in satisfaction. It seems Number 9 is the most perfect and competitive individual we have. All future production and nurturing will be based on Number 9's standard. As he spoke, he stroked his own mutated beast and smiled. Also, find a time for Number 9 to make its public debut. That high school student is at Phuc Trung High School in Tinthan, right? That's the best high school in Tinthan. If something were to happen there, it would probably greatly increase the support rate for that bill. Kai Bin immediately bowed his head. Yes, sir. In the blink of an eye, it was the next morning. Inside the training hall, Tiat Khan was already hard at work. Train, grow. One day I'll be able to solve any problem. And if I can't solve the problem, I can definitely solve the person who created it. He used his contemplation ability, projecting a phantom of the golden dragon. I don't care what company it is. I'll crush them all with one punch. A system notification appeared. You have performed one session of Dujiao Gong training, body training EXP plus 331. You have performed one session of Dujiao Gong training, Tang Long Vigor EXP plus 367. You have activated contemplation. Training efficiency greatly increased. Tiat Khan panted, looking at his fist. This is Jiao Tinhua, one of the 5 great killing moves of Tang Long Lu. It's an armor-piercing move that sends activated vigor into the enemy's body. No matter what kind of defense they have, it can be destroyed. I have to master this. Just then, Fu Kuang peeked his head in and shouted, Junior brother, you've struck it rich! Our boy was confused. What are you talking about? He threw his arms around Tiet Khan. Yesterday, you killed that monster at the Thui Chow Hotel and saved a bunch of rich kids, right? He replied, yeah. As he spoke, Fu Kuang showed him his phone screen, which was filled with transfer notifications, beaming with joy. Today, our Tanglong dojo received a ton of donations, all from those rich kids. Master said this money is all your reward, it's all going into your account. A total of 22 million. Tiet Khan's eyes lit up. That much? These rich and powerful people sure know how to show their gratitude. Not stopping there, he handed our boy a small notebook. Master said, with this much money, you can't train frugally like before. This is the plan he made for you. Inside it read, Daily, 10 Perfect Great Nourishing Soup X1, Spirit Nourishing Soup X1, Essence Nourishing Soup X1, Heart Nourishing Soup X1, Divine Nourishing Soup X1, Hit Boosting Pills x 4, Body Nourishing Pills x 2, Essence Elixir, Wit. Total, Dose, Sense Witanta, 0. Tiet Khan smiled. That's not so much. I've got 20 million in hand. Small change. Fu Kuang reminded him. Keep flipping to the back. He continued to the next page. Weekly. 1 Qi Condensing Heart. Nourishing Pill. 800,000. Medicated Steam Bath. Pump Type. 2 sessions. 1.23 million. The more he read, the more his voice trembled, his face darkening. Every 2 weeks. Tendon. Stretching massage. 1.8 million. Monthly, high pressure, stone room training session, 2 million. Tiet Khan was speechless. They really weren't kidding when they said martial arts is for the rich. Fu Kuang patted his shoulder comfortingly. Get ready to say goodbye to your 20 million. He pulled out his phone. Also, junior brother, look at this. On the screen was a trending headline with a picture of Tiet Khan, 17, year, old high school student kills monster with bare hands, Tin Dai's martial arts genius. Fu Kuang explained, someone leaked the info about you killing the monster to the press. Junior brother, you're a hero in Tin Thon now. Just as he finished speaking, the phone rang. Tiet Khan was startled. I've got a call, his brother asked curiously. Who is it? The call was from an unknown number, so he had no idea. I don't know. With no other choice, Tiet Khan answered the phone. Hello? But as soon as he heard the voice on the other end, his expression changed completely. Before he could process what was happening, a loud shout came through the phone. Tiet Khan, do you have any idea how long it's been since you've been to class? You've got some nerve, huh? Skipping school to work part-time, becoming a big hero, and deciding you don't need to come to class anymore? He answered timidly. What? No, that's not it. Something came up at home recently. Teacher Zhao continued, the school sports festival is starting in a few days, so I'll go ahead and sign you up. You're definitely running the 100M, and you'll have to participate in the 200M, 400M, 800M, and 2000M too. Also hearing this, Tiet Khan understood the situation and sighed in resignation. The result is that I have to go and bring honor to the class. Just then, Sun On peeked in and waved. Seeing her, he said into the phone, Teacher, something's come up here, so I have to hang up. The teacher replied, All right, but you have to be there on the day. After hanging up, he asked curiously, 6th senior sister, what's up? She came over, there's a commission I want to give you. The reward is really high. Just hearing the word reward made Tiet Khan's eyes light up. What kind of commission? Sun On shrugged. Sparring partner. The client is also a martial artist. They said they became curious about you after seeing the news and want to have a practice match. The reward is 500,000. He couldn't believe it. 500,000 just to be a sparring partner? A while later, in the northern sector of the Inner Ring, the northern sector was where most of the high-ranking government officials lived and had long been known as Gui Bak or Noble North. It was said that what anyone here earned in a few minutes was equivalent to what a family in the Outer Ring earned in a year. The luxurious hall was so opulent, it was overwhelming for Tiet Khan. This is seriously over the top. The driver announced, We've arrived. Wasting no more time, he took a breath and stepped out, thinking, 500,000 just for a sparring session. That's way too much. But then again, rich people have different spending habits than normal people. So a little bit of money like this is probably nothing to the client. This house is huge. It's almost half the size of a school. But as he got a closer look, Tiet Khan's eyes widened in shock. Is that? It turned out the people standing there were the two Hu Kuang brothers. What are they doing here? He walked up and asked, Are you two the ones who commissioned my dojo? Young Master Bui replied, No, you've misunderstood. Someone wanted to arrange a meeting with you through us. Hearing this, Tiet Khan's face darkened as he shot a look at him. Is that so? He quickly explained, Brother Khan, don't misunderstand. This has nothing to do with me. It was my dad who made me do it. I didn't dare refuse. Our boy got right in his face. So, your dad invited me over? Hugh Kwang waved his hands frantically. No, no, no! Someone else asked my dad for help. I can't really explain it. Before he could say more, young Master Bui pointed inside. Let me explain. Let's talk as we walk. He led the way for Tiet Khan. The person is from a government organization, but I don't know which one specifically. My dad also warned us to try and satisfy all of your requests. Young Master Bui asked, Last night at dinner, he said he wanted to ask me to arrange a meeting with you. Do you really not know anything about this? Our boy looked clueless. No. Looking for me? Could it be someone from the Kangduk Security Company? After a bit of walking and talking, they arrived at a large room. He turned back to Tiet Khan. Tiet Khan, even though you're very strong, I still have to say this. Don't let your guard down. That man, sitting inside, was a figure waiting for them, might be stronger than anyone you've ever met. The person was a burly man of color with an arrogant, self-important expression. So you've arrived. He smirked. Tiet Khan, it's a pleasure to meet you. You can call me Son Tu. Just one look and Tiet Khan knew something was off. This guy is not normal. Hello. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that Sun Tu's hands were covered in thick scars. Not only that, but his biceps had what looked like bullet wounds. The scar at the base of his thumb and the bullet wound on his shoulder, these are not things an ordinary person would have. From these clues, Tiet Khan concluded he was like someone who had served in the military, accustomed to killing. Sun Tu suddenly stood up slowly. Well then, no time to waste. Let's get straight to our exchange. Before Tiet Khan could process what was happening, the wooden chair exploded into pieces from the force of his movement. He rushed forward, grinning. And the best way to exchange is to have a good fight. Without a moment's hesitation, our boy also retaliated, with a punch swung from behind. If he's really from that security company, then I'll just take him out. The two of them clashed head-on, and a powerful shockwave erupted from the impact. San Tu smirked triumphantly, thinking to himself, this kid's hand is probably done for. But contrary to his expectations, Tiet Khan was completely unharmed. My turn. Hearing that, his opponent's eyes widened in horror. How is that possible? While Sun Tu was still in a daze, our boy had already struck, landing a devastating blow on his back. Fong Van Vi. The blow sent him flying, his head planting straight into a large mound of earth. Witnessing this, the Bui brothers were pale with fear. That one punch from Sun Kwai, if it were me, my whole arm would have been shattered. Not only is Tiet Khan's arm fine, but Brother Khan, how much of your real strength are you hiding? Looking at Sun Tu lying seemingly dead in the dirt, Tiet Khan calmly dusted off his hands. This level of skill, he's probably just a normal rich kid, right? After a moment, he managed to get up, his whole body shaking. That punch, as he stood up, he shouted, That felt great. Then, San Tu looked at Tiet Khan and urged him on. What are you standing there for? He grinned. Come on, hit me again. Seeing this, our boy was at a loss for words. Tiet Khan could clearly see that the blow had turned the back of his neck red, yet he was completely fine. Weird. Fong Van Vi could shatter that roach monster, but it had no effect on him. This feeling, it's just like that guy, Chu Ung-kon. Thinking of this, he asked, Are you an entity? San Tu was surprised. I didn't expect someone living in the suburbs to be so knowledgeable. He admitted it freely. My skin has been equipped with a layer of B1 defensive dermis. It's an entry-level military-grade differentiated entity. It has extremely strong shock absorption capabilities, especially against the vigor of you martial artists. After explaining, he asked, What's wrong? Interested? Want to get one for yourself? Tiet Khan cut him off. No thanks. I'm not interested. San Tu scratched his head and sighed. Every single one of them gives the same answer. Why can't you martial artists just face reality? With that, he shot forward like a rocket, shouting, Wake up! The times have changed! His hands clapped together with a deafening boom. Just from the sonic wave, Tiet Khan felt his ears ringing. San Tu explained, My hands have been modified. By clapping, I can create special sound waves that can cause disorientation. So, you're pretty much useless now. And the closer you are to me, the stronger the sound waves. Seizing the opportunity, he pressed his advantage with a punch. The winner of this match is me! Suddenly, a hand reached out and touched Sun Tu's chest, stopping him in his tracks. He felt his body freeze, like a stone statue, unable to move. How is this possible? With just a touch from Tiet Khan, Sun Tu's entire body was launched into the air, his chest taking a massive impact. Our boy's eyes were calm as he spoke. Your skin is tough, huh? Then I'll just pour my vigor directly into your body. Sure enough, this time the attack was effective. He couldn't talk tough like before, his eyes rolling back in his head. His body crashed to the ground. Tiet Khan stepped back and sighed. It doesn't take much effort to knock someone out. As he spoke, he sat down and looked at Sun Tu, who was foaming at the mouth. Just a light tap is enough. Upon closer inspection, Tiet Khan discovered something new. The exposed part of his chest wasn't human flesh, but a metal plate. A voice came from it. Sun Tu's consciousness has been interrupted. It seems he's no match for you. Tiet Khan was shocked. A communication device installed in his body? Who are you people? What do you want with me? The person on the other end replied, Wait for me for a moment. I'll be right there. Our boy grew impatient. Hurry up. I'm busy. The other side replied, I won't keep you waiting long. The moment the voice stopped, the Bui brothers ran over. What do they want with you? Is this some kind of initiation trial for a mysterious organization? Tiet Khan cut them off tiredly. Your imagination is running a little wild. They still thought it was a logical reason. I think it makes sense. Noticing that Sun Tu had woken up, Tiet Khan glanced down at him. Hey, if you're awake, get up. He couldn't pretend anymore and sat up. That really hurt. By the way, how did you counter that last move? Our boy explained, the essence of that move was to use sound waves to shock my brain. Contemplation. All I had to do was use a stronger force to countershock and cancel it out. He asked in astonishment, a stronger force? It was only then that Sun Tu realized he had lost from the very beginning. It seems this kid still hasn't used his full strength. With that thought, he glanced to the side and ordered, You two, go play somewhere else. The Hu Kwang brothers were startled. Huh? Okay. After they left, he stood up. The Bui brothers weren't wrong. I am a member of an official organization, and I want to invite you to join us. Tiet Khan flatly refused. I was never interested in joining any so-called official secret organization, especially after meeting you. He continued, You're supposed to be a legitimate organization, so why not just invite me in a serious manner? Why go through all this roundabout nonsense? I'm very dissatisfied with your organization's style, and I have absolutely no desire to join. Even if you had invited me properly, I still wouldn't have joined. I'm very happy with my current life, training in peace, slowly getting stronger, occasionally taking on a containment mission to upgrade my divine skills. It's so much more relaxing. Sun Tu waved his hands impatiently. Don't be so quick to refuse. I admit my working style is a bit unconventional, but joining us has only benefits and no drawbacks. As he spoke, he showed off his body. Look at this B1 protective membrane. You can't buy this with money. After you join, you can get one for free. Tiet Khan cut him off, but you still got hurt. Sun Tu refused to give up and leaned in closer, whispering, Brother, I admit you're a genius, but you'll soon realize that the human body has its limits. The feeling of being unable to take another step forward will drive you completely insane. But our boy was resolute. You're right, but I refuse. Crushing you modified people with my pure, original body, I find that more interesting. Seeing that his words had no effect, he exploded in frustration. Why won't this guy listen to reason? Another voice cut in. Shut up, Sun Tu. Your recruitment skills are terrible. He was startled. Captain, the voice ordered, look up. When they both looked up at the sky, a figure appeared, descending towards them. Looking closely at the person, Tiet Khan recognized her immediately. It's Hunan. The moment he said her name, she landed successfully, kicking up a cloud of dust. Hunan stood there smiling. We meet again, Tiet Khan. You probably still remember me, captain of White Crow Squad 838. The gorilla standing next to you is my subordinate. Sun Tu angrily cut in, I'm not a gorilla. Without hesitation, Tiet Khan ran over and whispered, Didn't you already introduce me to Ngo Tin? Why are you trying to recruit me again now? She cleared her throat. This time, it's an order from above. Looking at the glowing device on her wrist, Hunyan continued, Besides recruiting you, I'm here on a second mission. This is the monster you killed a few days ago. Do you know its origin? He asked, seriously. A creature from the boundary zone? She replied, not entirely. Hunyan explained, it does indeed have characteristics of a boundary zone creature, like this core. The core is the source of a boundary zone creature's power, but it doesn't have to be in the heart. It can be in the limbs, claws, or even the skin. As long as the core isn't removed, they can regenerate infinitely. Hearing this, Tiet Kan felt a wave of relief. I was lucky I happened to hit it and take out its core back then. Suddenly realizing something was off, he asked, if it has a core organ, then why did you say it's not entirely from there? Hunan projected another grotesque creature. This is called the Thien Tuk Trungmao. It's a creature from the Rotten Flesh Lake of Boundary Zone F56. Its highest danger rating is estimated at 6.2. But after listening for a while, Tiet Kan still didn't get it. Wait, what's a danger rating? What does the decimal point mean? She was shocked. Doesn't the dojo in the outer ring teach you even this? She turned to Sun Tu. Gorilla, send me the combat data from your fight just now. He grumbled, but complied, I'm not a gorilla. Looking at the device on her wrist, Hunan exclaimed, oh, your current danger level assessment is around 2.9 to 3.1. Tiet Kan was completely lost. She projected a chart and explained, a normal adult male has a danger rating of about 1 to 1.1. Your rating of 2.9 is equivalent to 1,280 normal adult males. The Thien Tuk Trung Mao, on the other hand, is equivalent to 5,000 to 6,000 of you. Tiet Kan grew worried. Well, that's definitely dangerous. She added, but that's only in an extreme situation. An unawakened Thien Tuk Trung Mao has a danger rating of only about 1.8. Besides, its main function is reproduction. The Thien Tuk Trung Mao can absorb genetic information from the creatures it devours, then produce corresponding insectoid offspring. It can even eat different creatures and mix their genes together. A month ago, a group of smugglers captured a Thien Tuk Trung Mao from the Rotten Flesh Lake and brought it out. After we received the intel, we pursued them all the way to the South City district of Tin Than, where we lost their trail. At this point, Hunyan looked at Tiet Kan again. And now, through you, we've finally found a clue. He was startled. You mean the roach monster I killed was born from the Thien Tuk Trung Mao? She replied, exactly. The more he heard about this complicated mess, the more frustrated Tiet Kan became. A human roach roach. Suddenly remembering something, his eyes flew open. His hand trembled uncontrollably. Was this thing created from the fusion of a roach and a human? Hunyan spoke up. You've probably already figured it out. The strength of these roachmen is increasing. I'm afraid the person controlling the Thien Tuk Trung Mao is constantly improving it. And you've repeatedly ruined their plans. As she spoke, she pointed a finger straight at Tiet Kan. You've become their target. Hearing this, he asked curiously, you're not inviting me to join just for protection, are you? Hunyan replied, of course not. Tiet Kan, you're only 17. Not only do you have outstanding talent, but you also have the courage to face a boundary zone creature head-on. Our White Crow Special Forces, backed by the agency, has the most professional and advanced training system in all of Chuha. We can definitely unlock your full potential, leaving no stone unturned. Tiet Kan didn't answer right away, thinking to himself, join the White Crows, backed by the agency, everything she's saying sounds great. But, unfortunately for her, I already have a training system that surpasses everything else from the very beginning. With that thought, he decisively refused. Sorry, I decline. Hearing this, Hunan didn't press the issue and just sighed. All right, I can roughly understand your thoughts. She continued, how about this then? I'll use my authority as the captain of Squad 838 to grant you the status of an external staff member of the White Crow Special Task Force. When necessary, I'll ask you to work for us on a commission basis. Of course, you'll receive corresponding rewards. Sun Tu was sweating bullets. Are you kidding me? Tiet Kan began to waver at this offer. This condition is too good to pass up. He asked, does your agency have divine relics? Although a bit surprised, Hunyan quickly regained her composure. Of course, one of the scientific research departments under the agency is the Divine Relic Research Institute. It houses many divine relics. If you accumulate enough merits, owning one isn't out of the question. Hearing that, Tiet Kan's eyes lit up. Without a moment's hesitation, he changed his mind. Deal. To be honest with you, I've been a die-hard fan of the White Crows for 10 years. My dream has always been to become an external staff member. Hunan shook his hand, smiling with satisfaction. Pleasure doing business with you. After their conversation, Tiet Kan got in a car and left. Sun Tu then asked, Captain, was that really necessary? He's just a talented martial artist. Rare, yes, but not that rare, right? She replied, This person is not that simple. She explained seriously, Yesterday, I had another contact with that young lady from the No family. The level of importance she places on Tiet Kan is far beyond imagination. He was shocked. Engo Aotin? The one who was born with a divine gift? It's not just that. She's always been trying to find a way to get rid of her gifted status. She once said, Only a god can fight a god. Hunyan spoke up. Besides divine relics, Tiet Kan is the only thing she cares about. Therefore, he must have some special quality that we haven't discovered yet. Even if we don't know what makes him special, we have to get him on our side first. That evening, sitting in the car, Tiet Kan looked around and thought to himself, Tin Than really is something else. Even its most bustling area can't compare to a single hair on North City's head. Just then, his phone buzzed with a notification. Go Ao Tin. When you have time, come find me at the library. He immediately replied, On my way. Driver, please take me to the Tin Than Library. A while later, on the 7th floor of the Tin Than Library, Tiet Kan had arrived. Seeing that he was there, Ao Tin urged him, Sit. The moment he sat down, he chugged the entire glass of water in one go. But then his face darkened. Boss, can't we drink something a little better? Seriously, how much does this woman love sparkling water? She smiled. You don't like it? This is tea made from water created by the divine relic you love so much. He cut her off. I'll take a Coke, thanks. As he was popping open the can of Coke he just received, Ao Tin asked, The White Crows have probably already contacted you, right? Tiet Kan had no intention of hiding anything. They invited me to join the White Crows, but I didn't agree. She smiled. You were right to do so, he asked, puzzled. Why do you say that? Ao Tin explained, Crows are usually considered an unlucky omen, a bird that brings disaster and death. But a white crow, a bakna, is seen as a symbol of rebirth, a benevolent crow that brings good fortune. The name is filled with good wishes. The reason they chose this name is because the work of the White Crows has an extremely high mortality rate. The 36th graduating class of the White Crow Special Task Force since the White Crows were founded over 60 years ago, only 3 people have lived to retire safely. Hearing this, Tiet Kan's face went pale. Well, that's seriously dangerous. It seems he'd have to carefully consider any work from the White Crows in the future. The revival effect of his twin skill could only be activated once in a short period. Remembering something, he exclaimed, Oh, right, boss. The agency, what's the deal with it, anyway? She replied, The full name of the agency is the Special Agency for Emergency, Response, and Management of Abnormal Disasters. After the new era began to deal with various abnormal disasters, Chuha established this special organization. It has an independent operating system and is not under the management of the 5 major agencies, so it's also known as the 6th agency. Let me put it this way. If you joined the White Crows, even if you went on a killing spree in Tin Than, even if you went crazy and detonated a nuclear bomb, no one would be able to arrest you. Tiet Kan asked, The power of the 6th agency, is that great? Isn't the government worried it will get out of control? Ao Tin reassured him, No need to worry. The high-level leadership of the agency consists of a total of 13 people, almost all of whom are residents of Thuong Dinh. That really gave him a new perspective. So, the 6th agency is basically the country itself, Thuong Dinh, the 5 major agencies. This background is insane. With nothing more to say, Ao Tin took the phone back from Tiet Kan. All right, I called you over today mainly to remind you to be careful with the White Crows. You can go now. He asked in surprise, No mission for me? She replied, Nope. He asked again, You don't want to show me a divine relic either? Ao Tin shook her head. Nope. Tiet Kan stubbornly persisted. Is that really all? She said helplessly, If you're really that bored, you can go clean the library. The moment he heard the word clean, Tiet Kan shot up like a spring. Sorry, I've got something to do, so I'll be going now. Suddenly, his phone rang. The caller ID showed, Do the Vi! Crap, I totally forgot about this. He rushed out. Teacher Du, don't worry, I'm on my way. Scene change. South City District. In the emergency stairwell, the old white-haired man was sitting motionlessly. Standing before him was a strangely dressed man. "Master, all the test subjects have been moved." The old man's face darkened. "I didn't expect these white crows to be so sharp. They actually managed to find their way here. What's the situation on Kai Bin's side?" The man smiled. "As you instructed, he has taken number 9 to the Tinthan affiliated high school. We should be getting news soon." As he stood up, the master reminded him, "We're using number 9 to distract the white crows so we can continue moving the Tin Tuk Trungmao." He added, "Otherwise, this thing's target is too big. It's easy to get exposed." The purple-haired man continued, "The Kangdu company is completely useless. We have to rely entirely on ourselves." Hearing this, the old man scowled. "These big corporations are smart. They just sit back and reap the rewards. If we fail, they don't lose anything. But it's also because of this that jobs like this fall to us." The man clasped his hands in front of him. "Master, if we finish this job, won't Kong Duke just discard us?" The master replied, "Do you think I haven't thought of that? The backup plan has been ready for a long time. If something happens to us, Kong Duke won't be getting off easy either." On the sports field, many boys and girls were gathered, laughing and talking happily, completely unaware that a pair of eyes was watching them. So much fresh, tender meat. If I could capture them all and offer them to the broodmother, it would be a great achievement. Suddenly, the screams of a group of girls standing on the bleachers caught his attention. "Senior Tiet Khan!" "Oh!" His gaze shifted to the opposite side, where the running competition was taking place. Senior, that's Senior Tiet Khan. He's Tiet Khan. A normal teenager like this was able to defeat the test subject. Truly surprising. Thinking this, the mysterious man pulled his hat down further and smirked. "But it doesn't matter. You'll all be having much more fun very soon." Feeling something was off, Lai Ka turned to look behind him. "That janitor has a pretty good build. Is he new?" Back of the race, as expected, Tiet Khan finished first. "First place, Tiet Khan. Senior Tiet Khan. Senior, I want to have your babies. Second place, Ba Dao." The announcer called out, "Third place, Hung Dung." Someone handed him a water bottle. "Brother Khan." Lai Ka teased him, "Still interested in girls at a time like this?" Tiet Khan replied emotionlessly, "No, there are still more events after this." He replied, "Today there's also the 400 meters, 2,000 meters, and the relay race." Hearing that, our boy paused and looked over. "Relay?" Lai Ka scratched his head. "The relay is part of the running events, so the teacher signed you up for everything. Don't worry, we won't hold you back." Just as he was about to speak, a sudden sense of foreboding shot through Tiet Khan's mind. And the place that was emanating that deadly aura was a classroom that reeked of blood. He used his ability to find out what was going on. Why is that thing here? Right at that moment, inside the school, a half-human, half-roach creature had appeared out of nowhere and was attacking the unlucky students. How did it get in here? A man-eating monster. "Run, run." Tiet Khan thought to himself, "This is way worse than throwing a tiger into a flock of sheep." He urged, "Lai Ka, call the police right now. Tell them there's a roach monster at the school." He replied, Okay. There was no more time to stand around. He made his decision, threw down the water bottle. "After this, run as far as you can and don't look back." At the entrance to the lecture hall, dismembered body parts were scattered everywhere, mixed with thick, black blood. The roach monster hadn't stopped. It continued to move towards a girl cowering in a corner. Fresh, tender flesh. It let out a guttural, gurgling sound as it approached. Before the girl could even scream, the roach monster lunged. Just then, a figure appeared in a flash of lightning speed. That person was none other than Tiet Khan, his foot slamming down on the ground. With just one surprise attack, he sent the monster flying backwards. The girl cried out, "Senior Tiet Khan!" The roach monster quickly recovered. He urged, "Get out of here, now!" She ran off. Thank you, Senior!" Tiet Khan got into a fighting stance. Gotta land the first hit, lower its health bar. A system notification popped up. Twin strength, twin speed. In the blink of an eye, he was right next to the roach monster with a devastating punch, concentrating all his power into a single point. Tiet Khan used the Quan Fong Loi technique. Once again, it was sent flying without being able to fight back. It crashed through several walls. Just then, a person whose body was covered in thick, static-like energy stumbled forward, Help! It was Kai Bean, covered in blood and looking terrified. Help me! It's completely out of control! Looking closely, Tiet Khan recognized him immediately. Don Kai Bin. Why is this guy here? He tried to reach out his hand. I'm from the Kimfong Dao Truong, Don Kai Bin. Please help me find my master. Just say. Before Kai Bin could finish, the roach monster flew towards them at high speed. With his nimble skills, Tiet Khan dodged to the side. But Kai Bin wasn't so lucky. The monster changed its direction towards him, his body torn to shreds in a gruesome display. Witnessing this, our boy thought to himself, that was fast. If I didn't have Twin, that would have been my end. My killing move just now, it couldn't even kill it. After dealing with Kai Bin, it turned its attention back to Tiet Khan. He noticed the wound on its chest was healing at an astonishing rate. It's healed already? That's way too fast. The words had barely left his mouth when the roach monster charged again. Tiet Khan quickly dodged to the side. It lost its momentum, skidding to a halt and looking back. But he still got clipped by a slash, blood seeping from the wound. Even while dodging, I still got grazed. This roach man is different. Compared to the one I fought at the Tui Chow Hotel, this one seems bigger and tougher. Not only were the spikes on its arms and legs longer, but even the antennae on its head had turned into weapons. Could this one have been optimized? With no other choice, Tiet Khan had to use his surroundings, throwing a fire extinguisher at it. Looks like this is going to be a long fight. Of course, this item was nothing to it. The roach monster sliced it in half with a single swipe. But because of that, the pressurized smoke inside the fire extinguisher sprayed out, blinding it. Seizing the opportunity while the roach monster's vision was obscured, he rained a series of blows on its body. Tiet Khan even grabbed a steel plate that had been exposed from the broken wall. Good opportunity. Without a word, he hurled the long steel rod straight at the monster's head, giving it no time to react. Its entire body was thrown backwards, green blood spraying from the wound. Just when he thought the blow had taken it down, its wings suddenly started moving. Tiet Khan was shocked. It's still fine after that? The words had barely left his mouth when the roach monster vanished from its original position. It flew erratically around him, forcing him to be on high alert. It seems like it's trying to disorient me with high-speed movement, then find an opening for a surprise attack. I didn't think this thing could think so tactically. Contemplation. If I can't see where the attack is coming from, then it's better not to look at all. He used contemplation to trace its movement trajectory. After observing for a moment, Tiet Khan finally figured out its target was his back. Found you. His arm swung back, a powerful force surging through it. This feeling? Tiet Khan exclaimed, it's just like when I first learned Fong Van Vi. His arm grew a layer of gleaming golden scales as he used the move Tang Long Lu Killing Move, Chuyen Kim Lan. But this roach monster was on a whole new level. The attack still wasn't enough. It's tough. With this much commotion at the school, there's no way the White Crow Squad won't show up. For now, I'll just have to stall for time and wait for them. The glass in the windows shattered, and cracks began to appear on the walls. Then, the entire wall collapsed, sending up a massive cloud of dust. Anti-gravity entity, Long-Rook device Hunyan, had estimated less than 5 minutes, but the school had already been destroyed to this extent. It seems Tiet Khan's chances are slim. The helicopter was flying low over the rooftop. She immediately shouted an order, "Get out of the way!" A giant tornado of energy erupted from below. Someone inside the helicopter asked worriedly, "Captain, the entire building has collapsed. Are we still going down?" Hunan's expression was grim as she raised a finger to her eye. Her vision activated, and the target was locked. The image became clearer. Hunan ordered, "Down. The data has been synchronized for all of you." She jumped down before them. "I'm going to rescue Tiet Khan first. You guys are in charge of capturing the Tien Tuk Trung Mao's offspring. It must be captured alive." Sun Tu thought to himself, this is the differentiated entity made from dragon bone. Why did the captain bring such a powerful piece of equipment out? Hunyan landed in the rubble below, thinking, that energy tornado just now was caused by the roach monster. The device on her back gradually retracted. Hunan walked over and patted Tiet Khan on the shoulder. He turned around, his eyes blood red, having lost all reason as he prepared to throw a punch. She grabbed his hand tightly. "Tiet Khan, it's me, Hunyan!" The red in his eyes faded. "You guys finally came." As he said that, Tiet Khan's body began to sway and fall backwards. Hunan quickly caught him. She helped him sit down and put a pill to his mouth. This is a painkiller. It works fast. Tiatkan, bruised and battered, warned her, "Don't let your guard down." The red marks on his neck were spreading like a web. "That roach man is strong." Hunan reassured him, "Don't worry, I didn't come alone this time." Sun Tu and Kop Vu appeared on either side of the roach man. Hunan was confident with them there. "The entire White Crow squad is here," Sun Tu teased. "See, this is the foundation Tiat Khan laid for us." Than Kyo reminded him seriously, "Stop talking nonsense. Be careful, its attack is coming." The roachman flapped its wings and flew towards them, a low hissing sound echoing. Sun Tu swung his sword straight at it. "Thanks for the heads up." Green viscous fluid oozed from its body. Kop Vu slashed at the roachman's back. From above, Hunan reminded them, "You idiot! How many times have I told you, when you slash, you have to aim for the right angle?" She demonstrated for them. Watch closely. A series of small daggers shot downwards, like this. They embedded themselves in the opponent's weak points. Glowing veins appeared as cracks formed on the roachman's body. Its body was torn to shreds, flesh and blood flying everywhere. Hunan landed. Demonstration complete. Understood? Tiat Kan, resting in a corner, spoke up. So professional, he thought to himself. Her blades all hit the critical weak points with perfect accuracy. With just a light slash, she could make the roach monster explode. Even a master butcher couldn't do better. Hunan is really skilled. A hissing sound came from the roachman's main body. Hunan ordered, "Kop Vu, stop its bleeding. Don't let it die. Bring this thing in. Maybe we can find the Thien Tuk Trung Mao." She assigned another task. "Than Kyo, you write the mission report and request a tracking device from HQ." Than Kyo complied. Understood. Sun Tu came over to tease him. "Hey, genius, why do you look so beat up?" Tiat Kan replied, "Lucky you guys came quickly." He puffed out his chest and revealed, "Of course. After the captain got the call, we immediately got on the helicopter from the South City District. The level of importance the captain places on you is not normal." Our boy asked, "By the way, did you guys find anything in the South City District?" Sun Tu replied, "We've only searched less than a third of the locations so far. Nothing yet." Tiat Kan revealed, "I have a new lead." Hunan was intrigued. "Oh, let's hear it." After hearing Tiat Kan's story, her brows furrowed. "You suspect the roachman was brought into the school by a man named Don Kai Bin?" Tiat Kan continued, "He's the leader of a gang of thugs. His appearance at the school was already strange, and he was disguised as a janitor. It's hard not to suspect a conspiracy." Hunan took note of this. "The information you've provided is very valuable. I'll have Than Kyo report it to HQ." She was about to turn and call Than Kyo when she screamed in horror, "Than Kyo! Kop Vu, get away from there!" The roachman's body was slowly healing. Vu was the first to be attacked by it. Than Kyo quickly grabbed her computer and dodged. A complete roachman appeared again. This shocked Sun Tu. "Instant regeneration?" Hunan denied. "No, it's molting." Seeing it fly away, a team member said worriedly, "Captain, it's trying to escape." Hunan replied, "It won't get away." Tiat Kan pulled a knife from the sheath on her leg. "Captain Hunan, let me borrow this." Watching Tiat Kan spin the knife, she was curious. "What are you planning to do?" Tiat Kan activated his twin power, twin speed. He aimed and threw the knife forward. The tip of the knife embedded itself in the center of the roach's chest, and green fluid gushed out. Hunyan's team was stunned. Sun Tu, seeing the roachman about to fall, asked, "Brother, did you just throw an armor-piercing round with your bare hands?" Our boy said modestly, "It was all thanks to Captain Hunan's good knife. She was fuming, trying to control her anger. That knife costs over 10 million. Tiat Kan thought, I used twin in a similar way before, but it didn't do anything to this monster. Weapons are really important." Hunan turned to look at him. Seeing the bruise on Tiat Kan's arm, she realized it seems using that move wasn't without a cost. Hunan patted his shoulder. "Let's go. Get on the plane. We'll take you back to the Tanglong dojo first, and we'll figure out the rest later." Tiat Kan agreed. "Okay." He sighed, looking at his arm, which was turning a deep purple. "I can't heal these injuries just by circulating my energy. I'll have to ask my senior brother and sister for help. But I'm probably going to get an earful." The helicopter began to ascend, leaving the scene. Sitting next to Sun Tu, he reported, "Boss, we've lost another team member. Captain, should we report to HQ and request more personnel?" She refused. No need. If a few more people die, the team's casualty rate will be too high and my year-end evaluation will drop. I can't have that, our boy thought to himself. This indifferent attitude towards death, I could live another life and still not learn that. A series of notifications appeared. You have survived a fierce battle. Your body's potential has been activated. Physical training EXP plus 1,367. You have survived a fierce battle, landing the final killing blow. Your mood is greatly improved. Life cultivation EXP plus 939. You have survived a fierce battle, landing a perfect blow, maximizing your precision. Aiming EXP plus 1,211. You have survived a fierce battle. Aiming upgraded to level 6 198 over 3,000. Tanglong Vigor upgraded to level 5 232 over 5,500. Contemplation upgraded to level 521 over 2,000. Tiet Khan felt a sense of relief. This experience was both painful and rewarding. The helicopter was flying over a modern urban area. He activated his level 6 aiming. Aiming has leveled up too. I should be able to see more clearly this time, right? From the helicopter, Tiet Khan could clearly see the traffic situation below. He could even see people eating in a restaurant. This is insane. My eyesight is better than a telescope. If I combine this with Tanglong Vigor, hitting a target several kilometers away isn't just a dream. Next time I face a monster like that roach man, I won't even need to get close. My safety factor has just gone way up. While he was celebrating, Hunyan called out, "Tiet Khan." She reported, "We have the investigation results from the South City District. The exploration team used a probe and found that the pollution rate there exceeds 10%. Tiet Khan was confused. "Pollution rate? What's that?" Hunan asked back. "You really don't know anything? What exactly did they teach you in the outer ring?" She had to explain it to him. For example, my left hand represents the world we live in now. My right hand represents the other world. When the two worlds collide or intersect, pollution occurs. The more severe the intersection, the higher the pollution rate. If it's just a slight collision, there will be a one-time shock. Otherworld, reality. The pollution rate is usually around 1%, -5%. Otherworld, reality. But once an intersection occurs, not only does the pollution rate rapidly increase to around 10% to 30%, but the physical laws of the current area will also change. Otherworldly creatures might even come into the real world. Tiet Khan asked curiously, "Is this how a boundary zone is born?" She denied it. No, a boundary zone is the product after the pollution rate reaches 100%. It's not the real world, nor is it the other world. People, in order to define it, gave it a new name, a world. In short, the South City District could experience an intersection event at any time. Don't go near it. Tiet Khan understood, I know. The moment he got back, Sanan started scolding him. "Junior brother, you really give us no peace of mind. Every time you come back, you're covered in wounds." Than Kyo was also helping him massage his wounds, but her expression was grim. San-an reminded him, "See, even senior sister Mon is angry now." She applied medicine to his body. "If you do this again next time, we're really going to ignore you." Tiet Khan felt the sting. "No, it's not my fault." The situation forced my hand. San-an started rubbing in the medicine, shouting, "Forced your head!" Tiet Khan yelped, "Senior sister, be gentle." San-an was still serious. "I have to make you remember the pain. Look at you. Your whole arm is bruised. Who knows how long it will take to recover." He said apologetically, "I don't want to be covered in wounds either. I had no other choice. In that situation, I was the only one who could stand up to that roach monster." Sanan put all her strength into her elbow and rubbed it on Tiet Khan's back. He gritted his teeth. "Sen, senior sister, a little gentler, please." She pressed her body down on his, completely focused on the treatment. "Endure it for a bit. This is the only way to infuse the medicinal power into your body with QI." With that thing pressed against his face unintentionally, Tiet Khan bit his lip and fell silent. He turned his head, thinking to himself, compared to Truxan An, Senior Sister Mana's chi is much more refined. The medicine silently seeps into the skin. Not only does it not hurt, it even feels a little comfortable. Suddenly, he felt an unusual sensation. This feeling, could it be? Lai, that opened the door and peeked in. Tu Khan. Tiet Khan greeted him, "Master." The two girls stopped what they were doing, their faces blushing. He stepped into the room. Lai, that took his hand to examine it. "I heard you really managed to forge the golden scales." My God, you're injured this badly? How strong was that monster? Tai Kan replied, That's right, master. Do you know of the Kim Fong Dojo? He was surprised. The Kim Fong Dojo? Their master, Jiao Hong Win, and I had some exchanges when we were young. Back then, the techniques of the Kim Fong Dojo were said to be able to turn one's fists and feet into blades. They said something like being unarmed was the same as holding a weapon. I was really curious, so I found an opportunity to fight them. Tiet Khan was suspicious. Them? You didn't just fight one person? Lai, that admitted. That's right. His disciples saw their master taking a hit and of course had to come to the rescue. But their power wasn't enough. They couldn't break my golden scales. Instead, I knocked them all down with one punch. But their style does have some skill. If you really encounter them, even if the opponent is unarmed, you must treat them as if they are holding a blade. But for you now, it doesn't matter anymore. The golden scales of our Tang Long Lu are the perfect counter to their Kim Fong Bok Hong sword. An opponent of the same level can't break your defense. If the opponent's cultivation is much higher than yours, then no precaution will matter. Tiet Khan blurted out, Is that so? He thought to himself. Back then, after Lao Hu Dan used a divine relic to boost her defense, Down Kai Bin couldn't hurt her. I wonder what his rank is at the Kim Fong Dojo. Sun An's soft voice cut through his thoughts. Junior brother, turn over. Your back is done, now for the front. Lai, that quickly left. I didn't notice before, but using vigor for healing is quite draining. Time to make a run for it. Tiet Kan asked with a forced smile. Or maybe I should just do it myself. Sun An poked him in the chest. Junior brother, what are you saying? What you need most right now is to relax. Just leave it to your senior sisters. His heart sank. Although I'm not interested in women, I'm still a man on the verge of peak puberty. This is a bit too much. Tiet Khan closed his eyes and asked, The first step of the Shilong technique. Sun An covered her mouth and teased, Senior sister, look, isn't he getting shy? As their hands applied the medicine to his body, he blushed furiously. So cool, so soft, so comfortable. Her fingers gradually moved down towards his waistband. He felt a sense of danger. Wait, I don't think that part needs any medicine. Than Qiu focused her energy into her hands, rubbing her arms against Tiet Khan's chest. She pressed her chest directly onto his face. Tiet Khan's heart was in turmoil. Hey, don't use this to test a party member. Sun An blushed and reminded him, Junior brother, you... Than Qiu, who was busy, had to look up. After seeing it, her face was so hot it felt like it was steaming. Tiet Khan said awkwardly, Senior Sister Truk, this isn't something I can control. It's an autonomous bodily response. Sorry, Senior Sister Man. Sun An pointed at a certain something. Like this, we can't continue applying the medicine. You can apply the rest yourself. He turned his back, his face bright red. It's all in easy-to-reach places. Sun An pulled her away. Then let him do it himself. Senior Sister Mon and I will go now. Tiet Khan sat up and exhaled. I really don't know if this woman is doing this on purpose. An hour later, Tiet Khan's body felt better. It didn't take that long. My whole body is still numb, itchy, and sore. It seems I was really seriously injured this time. But in the end, it was because I didn't fully understand the skill. The so-called Chuyen Kim Lan is about using vigor to connect the whole body, dispersing and neutralizing the opponent's attack. Visualize the whole body taking the hit together. The larger the surface area, the smaller the pressure. So that's it. That's the secret to the invincible defense of the Golden Scales. No wonder Master said the Golden Scales are the perfect counter to the Kim Fong Bok Hong sword. They rely on sharp, focused vigor attacks with a small surface area. When faced with the Golden Scales that can disperse pressure, it's naturally useless. As expected of one of the killing moves of Tang Long Lu, none of them are simple. The ones I haven't mastered yet, one is the Jiao Hoa Tin of blood training, the other is the Mat Quan Lu of tendon training. No rush. Tiet Kan decided, I'll heal up first. He returned home and saw someone sitting in the living room. Tiet Khan was surprised. Hon Ni heard the noise and turned to look. She stood up to greet him. Why are you back so late? Did you bring me any good food? Tiet Kan's jaw dropped. Miss Hon, you can turn into a human now? He thought to himself. That's weird. The documents in the library said you had to do times to turn into a human. Hon Ni replied, This afternoon, I suddenly found I could transform on my own. But I'm leaving soon. Today, I'm being compassionate and keeping you company. Tiet Kan sat down on the chair next to her. Why do you have to go? Isn't it comfortable here? Hon-ni blushed. You know very well that just by being with you, I'm putting you in danger. The Kongduk Security Company, the Dragon Cult, and probably many other things I don't know about. She took his hand. The days I spent with you, I was happy every single day. It was as if I really became a cat, without a care in the world. All I had to do was eat, drink, play, and sleep, without thinking about anything else. But I am the leader of the Dragon Cult. It's time for me to go. A single tear clung to the corner of Hon-ni's eye. Tiet Khan immediately pulled her into an embrace. He said firmly, "If I abandoned you just because you might bring me danger, wouldn't that make me a complete loser? Stay. Whatever danger comes, I'll face it with you." Hon-ni looked up. "Really? Can I really stay?" He smiled gently. "Of course." Hearing that, she was as happy as a child and threw herself into his arms. A series of notifications appeared. Someone has developed a large amount of goodwill towards you. RDXP plus 668. Someone has developed a large amount of goodwill towards you. RDXP plus 784. Someone has developed a large amount of goodwill towards you. Art EXP plus 851. Art upgraded to level 7, progress 131 over 4,500. That's a huge increase. Usually when those girls look at me, it only increases by a few dozen points at most. Tiet Khan looked at the girl pouting on his lap. Could it be? He had her sit up properly. "Miss Hone, I have something I need to discuss with you." Hon-ni blushed, not knowing why. After they talked, she understood. So whenever my emotions are stirred, the fusion progress with the cattail ring increases until I fully transform into Bastet. He cleared his throat. "Well, it's not just any emotion. It has to be the kind that we both generated in the bathtub the first time you fused." Thinking back, Hon-ni was shocked. "What?" She shrank back in fear. What are you trying to do?" Tiet Khan said awkwardly, "It's not what I want to do, it's whether you want to." The moment he reached out his hand, he saw Hon-ni go on high alert, making him even more embarrassed. "No, that's not what I mean. I'm asking if you want to try to actively accept this power." Hon-ni became serious again. "What do you mean?" He replied, "So far, no one who has transformed into Bastet has shown any abnormalities. They simply gain power. If we want to go up against a huge company like Kangduk Security, we naturally need to have as many cards in our hand as possible." Hon-ni was surprised. "You're really thinking about this seriously?" She continued, "Then, is the source of information on the cattail ring reliable?" Tiet Khan confirmed, "Yes. I don't think that person has any reason to lie to me." Hon-ni immediately grabbed his collar. Then she pushed Tiet Khan down underneath her. "Then let's try it now." He was flustered. Wait a minute," she said awkwardly. "Don't get the wrong idea. I just feel that with more power, we have a better chance of winning. It's not for any other reason." Tiet Khan cut her off. "You don't need to explain. I understand." Hon-ni blushed. "But how?" He suggested hesitantly, "How about we recreate that scene?" She accepted his request with a soft MHM. They filled the bathtub with water. Hon-ni trembled, letting out a few soft moans. Tiet Khan's hand grabbed her wrist. He gritted his teeth, his face contorted. Hon-ni leaned against Tiet Khan's chest, panting. "Is it over?" The ring on her tail began to glow with energy. Our boy's eyes immediately lit up. Tiet Khan grabbed it. A notification appeared. "Divine substance detected. Absorbing divinity. Promoting fusion with the cattail ring." He was surprised. There's more divinity to absorb? Well, it makes sense. Enhancing the fusion is about drawing out the power of the heretic god Bastet from the cattail ring. Absorb divinity, 33 over 500. Heretic gods are still gods, so they have divinity too. Hon-ni happily reported, "Tiet Khan, I think I got a little stronger." He knew it all too well. "I can feel it. With my current physique, a normal person with a knife probably couldn't even leave a mark. You just casually scratched me, and my arm is already bleeding." She stammered, "Sorry." Tiet Khan suddenly remembered, "Oh right, did you just enhance your physical strength? Feel around a bit more, see if there are any other powers." The notification updated. Absorb divinity, 102 over 200. Tiet Khan silently urged, "Come on, absorb it faster." She suddenly remembered, "There's also this." In our words, this move is called Satsa Tianbin, the warrior Catwoman, Balador. One of her titles is Sasaja. She killed the chaos serpent Apep. and thus gained the ability to counter anything related to snakes. Tiet Kan was curious. Related to snakes? Hon Ni explained, well, dragons and snakes look pretty similar, right? So your Tang Long Lu is also within my counter range, Chu Kan. When she touched his skin, a small, ice-like debuff icon appeared. Tiet Kan was surprised. What is this? My training is related to dragons, and it gives me a debuff? He grabbed Hon Ni's wrist. That's not right. I'm just practicing a technique called Tang Long Lu. I'm not a real dragon. I get countered too? She said proudly, the power of a god is just that unreasonable. Hon Ni's finger gently touched his chest again. Even having the word dragon in the name falls within my counter range. Tiet Kan sighed, that's just too OP. Then an idea struck him. Wait a minute. He surmised, then the dragon cult, can't you just do whatever you want with them now? Hon Ni's eyes lit up with excitement. Yes, I don't have to listen to them anymore. If they come looking for me again, I'll definitely teach them a lesson. Knowing this, her smile gradually turned menacing. Tiet Kan immediately pinched her cheek, forcing her to stop. We'll think about that later. Hon Ni obediently listened, okay. That night, he lay on the bed, holding Hon Ni, who had turned back into a cat, to rest. He was checking his stat sheet. Divinity, 309. Just by promoting the cat tail ring fusion once, I got this much divinity. It's almost as much as a divine relic. But in the end, what exactly is divinity? If divinity is the source of a divine relic's power, then a divine relic that I've absorbed divinity from should lose its power, right? But in reality, the divine relics I've absorbed divinity from haven't changed at all. Whatever, I'll stop thinking about it. I'll upgrade my skills first. The system switched to the notification screen, Twin Shadow Flame. Twin level 3. Divinity needed to upgrade, 9/500. Passive. You have 2 lives. After dying, you can freely choose a time to revive within 7 days. Cooldown, 80 days is greater than 70 days. Tiet Kan realized, it's just as I thought. Each level up reduces the cooldown by 10 days. Maybe at level 10, I can really have infinite revives. A series of new notifications updated, active. For each level, you can designate an ability related to yourself, and it will have a doubled effect when used. Currently activated, Body Strength, Action Speed. Current choices: Body Defense, Reaction Speed, Calculation Ability, Concentration, Memory. Tiet Kan was torn, but how do I choose for this passive effect? 3 days later, at the Tonglong Dojo, he was training. Tiet Kan circulated his chi to the point where veins popped out on his face. The muscles in his arms tensed up. The notification reminded him, Body Defense. Tiet Kan threw a powerful punch. A swirling vortex of energy radiated from his fist. He was secretly pleased. I definitely didn't make the wrong choice. 3 days ago, I enhanced my body defense. Although reaction speed was a good choice, almost all of the 5 great killing moves of Tang Long Lu are related to the body's endurance. I'll activate Tang Long Lu plus Technique plus Vigor X2 and see how this works. Tiet Kan posed a problem. Assuming martial arts is like math, the combination of moves and the use of strength are different mathematical formulas. When Quanfeng Loi is 30 plus 30 and body defense is plus 20, the twin effect is applied to the final power. Directly doubling it, body defense, twin, that one punch created a deep crater in the floor. Looking at the wreckage, Tiet Kan was very satisfied. Quanfeng Loi was already a punch that could unleash double the power. After enhancing my body defense and adding the twin effect, it's pretty much invincible. Sun On came to call him Junior Brother. Someone's looking for you. Tiet Kan was surprised to see the other person. Hunyan? Why is she here? She got straight to the point. I have something to tell you. Sun On asked irritably, what is she? He was strictly confidential. Sorry, 6th senior sister, I can't say. Hunyan impatiently reminded them, are you guys done talking? My time is very valuable. Sun On angrily shot back, if you have something to say, just say it. Stop being so secretive. Hunyan placed a finger on her lips. Sorry, little sister. Only Tiet Kan can hear this. Sun On's lips trembled with anger. You. Hunyan turned to leave. Let's go. Find a private place. Seeing her so angry, Tiet Kan sighed to himself. I'm screwed this time. He followed Hunyan into a private room. What's the matter? Why so urgent that you had to come here to talk? She replied calmly, don't be nervous. Actually, I'm just here to deliver a message for someone else. Tiet Khan immediately thought of one person. A message from Aotin? Hunyan tapped the watch on her wrist. You guessed it. An image of a person appeared. She introduced, "This is one of the 6 great tycoons of the Far East, the 3rd heir of the Nuajia clan, Nuajia Lintak. The blade he's holding is a divine relic, God, 519, Batma Chinem. Its ability is simple. It's called Eternal, Unbreakable." Our boy was surprised. Eternal, unbreakable? The strongest sword? The strongest shield? This concept is a bit metaphysical. Hunan replied, I know what you're thinking. Among the divine relics that currently exist, there's no such thing as an unbreakable shield that can counter it. And someone once used a special method to subject God 0519 to a temperature of over 10 million degrees. The result was that the blade was completely unharmed. Tiet Khan understood the implication. So this is a new containment mission. She shook her head slightly. God 519 is not in an out-of-control state. No containment is needed. He couldn't guess. Then what does she need me to do? Hunyan laid her cards on the table. Aotin said, It's not what she needs you to do, but whether you are willing to do it yourself. Tiet Khan could confirm it now. Aotin wants me to get it. Hunyan smiled. Nugujia Lintak is coming to Jia Ha to participate in the U-19 Unlimited Fighting Tournament. Normally, making a move on him would lead to a serious diplomatic incident. But now things are different. God 519 has a special characteristic of choosing its master. When the wielder of God 519 loses to another person, the ownership will transfer to the winner. Don't you like divine relics? Then go get it yourself. Defeat him in the fighting tournament, and God 519 is yours. At the same time, at the South City port, Tat Kin reported, Master, junior brother is very famous in Thanfong. He won all 12 of his matches with overwhelming dominance. The reputation of our Kim Fong dojo is spreading. Hong Win criticized, he's getting cocky after winning a few competitions. He has no composure at all, making a fool of himself. Tat Kin argued, junior brother is a rare talent. It's not a bad thing for him to be a little arrogant. He changed the subject. Are the white crows still on our tail? Tat Kin replied, I've silenced everyone who knows about it. The white crows won't be able to get anything else. It's just a pity about senior brother Kai Ben. Hongwen patted his disciple's shoulder comfortingly. Tat Kin, I'm very sorry about Kai Ben's death, but this is just a small setback on the road to success. You must look forward. He asked about him, what about junior brother? He replied, the path he walks is different from ours. Also, don't reveal what we're doing to Thua Huyen. He's about to participate in the finals. Don't let him get distracted. Tat Kin immediately complied. On Tiet Khan's side, he was speechless. I clearly only told my master about participating in the U-19 Unlimited Fighting Tournament. Both of his senior sisters had come on this trip to Fong Than. He wondered, why did you all follow me here? Sun An replied, it's dangerous for a boy to be out alone. As his senior sisters, we naturally have to protect our junior brother, right? Tiet Khan found it a bit ridiculous. Who's really the one in danger? He asked Hon Ni, who was sitting on his shoulder, what about you? Did you come to protect me too? She blushed and said, enhancing the fusion with Bastet requires consistency. Tiet Khan was surprised. Don't tell me you're addicted, Hon Ni stammered. Absolutely not. Sonan bent down to observe her. Junior brother, your relationship with this cat is really good. You even bring it with you to competitions. Hon Ni showed her attitude. Cat, I want to be with Tiet Khan. What's it to you? Sun An suggested, leading it around must be hard to train, right? Why don't we leave it at the hotel? Hon Ni immediately protested, if you dare leave me at the hotel, I'll run away from home. Tiet Khan looked at the two of them, not knowing how to mediate. He hung his head and said, fine, everyone can come, okay? On a bustling city street, they went inside. Sun An took a small pointer and tapped it firmly on the table. She began her presentation. Listen up. At your current level, you have absolutely no chance of beating Wajia Lintak. Sitting below, Tiet Khan asked, excuse me, 6th senior sister, what level am I now? She estimated roughly about level 3. He asked again, is this level a special rank in Fong Than? Sonan said proudly, of course not. I invented it myself. Tiet Khan's jaw dropped. Oh! She analyzed further. My judgment is well-founded. Nguajia Lintok started at 10 years old, and in just 5 short years, he became the top disciple. Started at 10, became the top at 15, received a title at 18. 3 years later, he received another title in the martial arts world. His strength is equivalent to our senior brothers. Do you think you can beat our senior brother right now? Although I haven't been training for long, there's still a significant gap between me and senior brother. If we were to fight now, I'd probably get completely destroyed. Sanan continued, "At least you know your place. But the key point I want to make isn't actually this. The U19 Unlimited Fighting Tournament is the only global fighting competition that allows the use of weapons. The strength of the weapon will greatly affect the outcome of the competition, and the participants' strength is also related to their proficiency with the weapon. Junior brother, if you were to choose a weapon that suits you, which one would you choose?" Tayet Khan replied confidently, "I wouldn't choose anything. I only believe in my fists." She posed a question. "If I told you that Nguajia Lintok with a weapon is as strong as 9 of our senior brothers, would you still stick to your belief?" He was stunned. 9 of them? Looking at the words Sun An had just written on the board, Tayet Khan was shocked. With a sword, his power is multiplied by 9. He thought to himself, although I've never fought senior brother, he has already mastered all the killing moves of Tang Long Lu. Even if I train my golden scales to the extreme, I'd probably have a hard time defending against one of his full power attacks. If 9 people like him attacked at the same time, there would only be one outcome. Tayet Khan glanced at his fist. "I would definitely lose." Sun An solved this problem. "Ta-da! The savior has arrived. Junior brother, see what this is?" He took the object wrapped in black cloth. Tayet Khan had only just estimated its weight when he praised, "A good blade." She was surprised. "How did you know it's a blade?" He unwrapped the cloth. "It told me so. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's like it's calling to me, saying it wants me to use it." Sun An was overjoyed. "That's great! You've been here for so long, and I've never given you anything. This blade is a gift for you to use in the U19. He asked, "Senior sister, may I ask how much this blade is worth?" Sun An calculated, the main material of the blade is dragon bone iron, and it's also forged with refined iron stone, moon essence, silk, and blood tiger amber. Plus, the person who forged it was the great master Haku Tich." She threw out a number, about 20 million. The number stunned him. "A casual gift is my entire fortune. The world of the rich, I really don't get it." He immediately replied, "Thank you, senior sister Truk. I'll accept the blade." Tayet Khan tried using the blade. "Although I have a weapon now, it feels a bit uncomfortable. Can't it be like in a game where you can just pick it up and use it?" Suddenly, danger approached. He easily detected it. Tayet Khan raised the blade to block, and water splashed everywhere. "Lie," that shouted. "Pathetic!" Our boy was surprised. "Master?" He clasped his hands and asked, "Master, do our Tang Long Lu martial arts have any techniques related to the use of weapons?" He lifted the teapot from the armrest of his wheelchair. Then he poured out the water inside. The martial arts techniques of a single school are fundamentally interconnected. A technique that can be used with fists and feet can definitely be used with a blade. Tayet Khan was amazed. He just used tea to burn a hole in the floor. Lie, that continued. "The competition is urgent. You really need to learn a powerful killing move." Our boy was stunned by the sight before him as Lie, that swung the blade, a powerful sword intent slashing outwards. Tayet Khan feels like he's been dropped right into the middle of a war zone. He stares blankly at his own hands. In this vision, Tayet Khan's hand has been completely sliced to pieces. He starts to panic, thinking, "What is this?" Tayet Khan looks down and sees himself standing on a mountain made of his own corpses, with thick, fresh blood painting the entire landscape. Back in reality, Tayet Khan's face is pale and his breathing is heavy. Lie, that just asks him, "So, how'd that feel?" Tayet Khan is already piecing it together. This was blade intent. Lie, that reveals that this Asura blade intent is the result of pushing one's kinetic chi to its absolute peak, allowing you to use your spiritual consciousness to directly attack someone's mind. Tayet Khan is confused. Is this even scientific? His master just laughs. Is our hidden dragon style, which can summon a dragon out of thin air, scientific? If you want to master weapons, I'll teach you the Asura blade intent. Even without a special body or a finishing move, just swinging your blade with this intent is ridiculously OP. Let's go. We're starting now. Tayet Khan hesitates. Master, Sparring with you, isn't that a bit of an overkill? Lie, that just wheels his chair out of the way. What are you talking about? Of course Thankyo is your opponent. Don't even think about techniques. Just channel your killing intent and attack Thankyo with everything you've got. Tiet Khan immediately charges forward. Against a senior as strong as her, there's no need to hold back. He unleashes a furious blade intent strike straight at Thankyo, but her hand moves in a blur. A hand chop lands right on the back of his neck and stops. One shot. Tiet Khan grits his teeth, gripping the hilt of his blade. He demands a rematch with Thankyo. Watching Tiet Khan quickly get the hang of the blade, That thinks to himself, this kid's got some serious talent with weapons. At this rate,